Whoop whoop. There it is. Let's go, guys. What's going on, everybody? Coach Colin here, as always. Happy Tuesday to everybody. We're getting into some stuff today. Tucker Carlson is on the warpath right now. He is taking aim at the president right now in this very scathing monologue that he gave. I'm going to take you through the highlights of that. And then and then it goes, it's going to be, pretty fierce from Tucker. Then we go into one theory that Tucker's kind of touching on when it comes to the president, which is very interesting. And then also somebody else, big Candace supporter, put a post out about something called DTT. Do you know what DTT is? You're going to find out. Then we jump over. Barron said something that made me go, boom. I was like, oh, I want to talk about this. When he brought up the intellectual dark web. And I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember as it was forming. Oh, I remember the web before it became a tangled web they wove in. The tangled web they weave. I remember the intellectual dark web, how celebrated it was by most of us. We were so happy to see, and you wouldn't believe who's at the head of the table when it comes to the intellectual dark web, which makes you really start to look at things a little differently. Anyway, let's jump. And then after that, we're going to talk about Kanye West. And then I found one thing about somebody saying something about turning point. Some kind of, well, we'll get into that. And then Tyler Boyer apparently had a little bit of a meltdown on X. Not with Candace or anything, because he doesn't really get into it with Candace. He just gets into it with regular people. Really weird. So we'll be covering all of that. Oh, and then I have to show you the response from the president. Oh, goodness. I can't forget that. Because his response, I mean, everybody said, oh, you're crazy for that Easter message. And he said, oh, you think that's crazy? Oh, hold on just a hot second. I got crazy for you. Okay, there it is. I got it pulled up. Perfect. Let's jump right in, guys. Hope everybody's having a great morning, great commute, all that fun stuff. And, the weekend's almost here. And when the weekend gets here, it's almost over. Let's jump right in. Candace is off today. Don't have much from Candace today. I'll stay updated. If you guys see anything on X, let me know. And then we're going to kick it off with Mark really quick. Mark sent me a text message. He said the intellectual dark web has become the intellectual dork web. I mean, very good, Mark. Very good. Thank you very much for that contribution. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Let's jump right in. Now, of course, I don't know who put this here. I don't know what this is. This is not what we were looking for. There it is. There it is. Sorry. For a second, you had the They Live glasses on. You're seeing too much there. You're seeing way too much. No. We just go back to this. This is him talking to the nation with an Easter bunny beside him. Just crazy. Just a crazy image there. Just wanted to show that to you really quick. Now we'll jump into the Tucker stuff. Tucker, again, pissed. I mean, Tucker's been told that he's not MAGA. Tucker has been told that he is crazy, that he is paid off by Qatar. The almost entire conservative, at least the talking heads, have turned against Tucker. It's really something to behold. It's completely unjust, in my opinion. So let's check out what Tucker has to say about this whole thing. Thanks for the audio check there, Mark. Appreciate it. Not paying you for that, though. Not paying you for that. But I thank you. Anyway, let's get it.
Said something, but they didn't. And that got us all the way to yesterday, which was Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is not just a holy day on the Christian calendar. It is the center of the Christian calendar. It is the holiest day in Christian life. Because it's the day that Christians remember the whole point of their religion, which is not that Jesus was killed, but that he rose from the dead, that he beat death, unique in history. And this is the day that Christians celebrate his resurrection. And in this country, that celebration's been watered down effectively to candy and Easter bunnies. But globally, and certainly historically, Easter is the focus. It's preceded by Holy Week and Lent, 40 days of self-denial and prayer, all leading up to yesterday, Easter morning. And for faithful Christians, it is still the biggest day of the year. And it's a day of joy. The thing every person fears most is death. We're born fearing it because we're born knowing it's coming. And Christianity, unique among religions, promises victory over it. And Jesus' resurrection is proof that God can beat death because only God creates life. And so the morning of Easter is a uniquely joyful and peaceful moment. And yet that peace yesterday was shattered. That's not an overstatement. It was shattered for many observant Christians by a statement that the President of the United States put out at 8:03 a.m. Eastern time on Easter morning that said this, and we're going to read it in its entirety, not in outrage or self-righteousness, but honestly in horror. Quote, Tuesday will be power plant day and bridge day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. 3 exclamation points. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. All caps. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Now, a lot of people reading that imagined, of course, this can't be real. Did the President of the United States really just write that? And it is real. It is maybe the most real thing this president has ever done, and also the most revealing. On every level, it is vile. On every level. It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military, to destroy civilian infrastructure in another country, which is to say to commit a war crime, a moral crime against the people of the country, whose welfare, by the way, was one of the reasons we supposedly went into this war in the first place. They're being killed by their government. We have to rescue them. And now here's our president, not even a month and a half into the conflict, which we are not winning, by the way, because the Straits of Hormuz are not open. There's one way to keep track. That's the measurement. Saying that we're going to use our military to kill the civilians of this country who didn't choose the war. They got nothing to do with it. They're like civilians everywhere. Blow up their bridges? Bridges on military bases? No, just bridges. Bridges that people cross every day to go to school and work and to worship, and yes, church, because there are over 1 million Christians in Iran. This is their Easter too. And power plants. Not the power plants attached to missile factories, okay, but civilian power plants in a country of almost 100 million people. What happens when a modern country, and a country that has a nuclear program as a modern country, sorry, Iran is a modern country, what happens when it loses power? Well, people die. Babies connected to incubators die. People in hospitals die. And those are the first level effects. And then people begin to starve. And then you have refugee crises. People leave the cities looking for food. And yes, they move into other countries. In the region, in Europe, in the United States, you cause chaos and death, mass suffering and death when you do that. And we have done that. We have intentionally bombed civilian infrastructure in Iran. It's totally unacceptable. Not under the phony laws of some international body, but under moral law, God's law, killing non-combatants, people who did nothing wrong, who didn't choose this war, who were just people created by God. That is immoral. That will never be moral. That can never be justified. That is always wrong. It can be expedient. We need to do this. It doesn't mean it's right. It's the most wrong thing. And we should always remember that what we do will be done to us. Live by the destruction of civilian infrastructure. Live by the killing of children, the bombing of elementary schools and colleges. And you will die, and your children will die by those same things. That's just a fact.
Man, Tucker's going in. So as you can see, Tucker is completely, I don't want to even say that he's turned on the president, but, will they have a relationship going forward? I think so. Possibly. I think because Tucker will remain, no matter what all of these Zeo Rangers are saying, he will remain a very useful part that maybe the president now doesn't need, but whoever's going to run 2028, if it's JD loves Tucker. Tucker's son works in JD's camp of things, right? He hasn't gotten rid of Tucker's son at all. That's not going to happen. So they can repair it, but Tucker is saying everything right, and the president is saying everything wrong. And that's not a surprise, but I mean, the way he's going at this right now. Here's another highlight for you. I don't want to go through the entire thing. It is like 45 minutes, but I am going to bring you the highlights that are important as he dissects this message and then gets into what is going on in the White House currently, because there's some weirdness going on that I didn't know about. Candace has actually touched on this. A woman named Paula. Candace has talked about Paula and her not liking Paula at all. And I can see why after looking up some stuff about her. I'll show you some stuff about Paula after.
It's given to us, we hope, by Israel.
Of course, that's how fast I was listening to it. Of course. What do you think I was doing this morning?
Our country? Maybe it wasn't. Who knows at this point? For the president to call for that, it's worth stopping and saying, no, this is not acceptable under any circumstances. You haven't justified it. You couldn't justify it. And it can't be done in our name. And the point, of course, is to get the Iranians to open the Strait of Hormuz. Well, no sane person thinks that's going to work. At which point you have to ask, why would we do it anyway? Well, there are a bunch of possible reasons, but the darkest of all is for the sake of doing it. For the sake of killing, for the sake of exercising the most obvious form of power, which is extinguishing life. That's why we're doing it. The thrill is in the killing. The power is in the killing. The exertion of force is the point. You don't want to think that. But after a message like this, what could possibly be the reason? There's nobody who thinks that if we do this, and we pray we don't, for our sake as well as the sake of non-combatant, innocent Iranians, nobody thinks this is going to work. But then the tweet continues. Pardon me, the ironically named truth continues. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing strait. How dare you speak that way on Easter morning to the country? Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning? You'll be living in hell. As if hell is a place. Hell is a condition. And this is an example of that condition. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. So obviously you're mocking the religion of Iran. Okay. If you seek a religious war, that's a good idea. But by the way, no decent person mocks other people's religions. You may have a problem with the theology. Presumably you do if it's not your religion, and you can explain what that is. But to mock other people's faith is to mock the idea of faith itself. And we should never mock that, because at its core is the acknowledgement that we are not in charge of the universe. We did not build it. We won't be here at the end of it. We can destroy life. We cannot create it because we are not God. The message of all faith at the biggest picture level is the message in our Bible, which is you are not God. And only if you think you are do you talk this way. But it's not just mockery of Islam. And no president should mock Islam. That's not your job.
Many people, obviously the Zio Rangers, got upset that he said that you shouldn't mock any faith. You shouldn't mock this faith that he's talking about in particular, Islam. They got very upset that he said that, and they're like, oh, this is so leftist. This is NPR, things of that nature. And it's very interesting to see the people who are kind of breaking away from the left and right after being heavily in the left and right. Candace seems like she has broken away. Tucker right now is seeming like he broke away. I've never seen Tucker like this before, where you can't really distinguish where he is. He's still a huge voice in the conservative movement, but you can see with what he's doing right now, he's going against a lot of what is being pushed right now in the conservative movement, but that is being controlled by what I call the Zeo Rangers, Levin, Shapiro, on the lower side, maybe the lower IQ side, the quartering, the people like that, Sean Frost, I think, Bongina, as so many people fondly call him. There's all those types, right? They're really, really the only ones that will have huge voices, but they're the ones pushing this not America first type of mentality. The America only is not allowed in their minds because there's a little place in the Middle East that they all support, The Zeo Rangers are all blue and white. There's no black, there's no yellow, there's no pink. It's just the Blue Ranger, White Ranger, Blue Ranger, White Ranger, Blue Ranger, White Ranger. Yeah, it's very interesting to see him saying this. Very presidential, I have to say. I've listened to this monologue, I don't know, 5 times, maybe more. 3 times this morning alone. So yeah, maybe like 6 times. Very presidential what's going on. And I can't help but think, is he positioning himself for some kind of run while he's saying this? He's making sure to be very America first. He's making sure to not step on any religions. In fact, he's been defending multiple religions. He's made sure to even hold up that incredible 500-year-old looking Bible that he has. Absolutely beautiful Bible. He's really making sure to position himself in this very, very presidential way. And unless JD runs with him, I think JD gets run over if Tucker ever decides to do his thing. Let's jump over to the next clip here as he continues to talk about what Trump has done wrong and the worry that all this is bringing, because a lot of innocent people will die and have died already, right? You heard about the school, right? You heard about the school kids, right? I didn't talk about it all that much. Really hard, I'm pretty good at it. Really hard to make the school children getting evaporated into a funny joke. I tried really, really hard. Couldn't really come up on anything. But that's happened already. Who knows how many hatred-filled people you've created by doing something like that. And it's all in the name of another nation. That's the crazy part. That's the very crazy, sad part. And you can see Tucker is doing this. We're going to get into this right now. But you can see Tucker is doing this because he's already been on the wrong side of a war before. And he's apologized for it publicly. He said everything but the word hoodwinked. He said he was lied to. He couldn't tell. He was like, when you're in Washington, you just can't. It's like being in water and trying to realize that you're wet. It's just not a thing that you can do. And when he broke out of Washington, moved away, he started seeing it for what it was. And he understood he was on the wrong side of it. And he really spoke up about it. And he's not having that happen again. Kind of like Joe Kent. Having his wife die, having gone into 11 deployments, having sacrificed all this stuff. He starts looking around and he goes, I don't want another 10,000 guys to go through what I went through or what I'm going through now. Cause who knows how long, this guy's not Erica Kirk over here. He's not draped in sparkles and pyrotechnics. Who knows how much he's still wrestling with in regards to that as a normal person would. So yeah. Anyway, let's jump into the next thing.
Obviously, he's a communications hub.
Of course, that's how I'm listening to it. I'm sorry, guys. I listen to things on double speed all the time. How do you think I listen to it 6 times? Come on.
He's to get the message out to your people. And it's the same with America's most prominent neocons. They're not making policy. They don't understand anything. They don't have huge audiences. They have no organic power. They're messengers and flack takers. They're the ones who get the abuse for the policies of others. Put some lunatic on TV. Rah! Everyone can hate him. But is he coming up with the plan? No, of course not. He's got a weekend show on Fox. But it's useful to watch what he says. In fact, the President of the United States himself has said this. Watch Mark Levin on Saturday night. You think Trump is dumb? You think he's doing this to juice Mark Levin's ratings? No. It's not possible to increase the ratings of someone nobody wants to watch. The point is to send a message That's not a conspiracy theory. It's true. Levin's show, written probably not by Levin, which has almost no viewers, has been a place where the future is revealed in its broadest outline. It's a place to test ideas. It's a place to announce obliquely what's going to happen. And his most recent show should get you sitting bolt upright in your chair. And yes, this ran this weekend, Easter weekend, as if the defiling of beauty couldn't be more obvious. Easter week, could you pick another weekend to give the finger to Christianity other than Easter weekend? Apparently not. In fact, of course you couldn't. That's the point. Do it on Easter. Anyone who will accept this will accept any humiliation. In any case, here's what Mark Levin said on his Easter weekend show about what we ought to do next in Iran. Watch.
And the casualty numbers, as horrible as any casualty is, need some context. Let's look at World War II. The Battle of the Bulge, 80,000 to 90,000 plus casualties, deaths and injuries and so forth. Nearly 10% of all the casualties in World War II happened at the Battle of the Bulge near the end of the war. The Battle of Okinawa, 50,000 plus casualties, over 12,000, nearly 13,000 killed on that island, which is what convinced Truman that we would lose a million men if we didn't drop the atomic bombs that we did. So this is a war or a peace mission to stop nuclear weapons that can blow away millions of Americans. Every bit as important as World War II. This is a crucially important military operation, war, call it what you want, peace mission. And we ought to be celebrating the success of our military, unifying around our military and our commander-in-chief, and urging them to complete the task so our country is safe from nuclear weapons by insane, suicidal.
Okay, he's suggesting that nuclear weapons be used. That's what he's doing right now. And he's just trying to kind of use the past and say, look, a million men, and this is what Truman said, and you understand? And so we don't want to lose millions, so we have to make sure they lose millions, potentially, and use these type of weapons. He's the worst. Hey, he's the worst. He's the absolute worst. I mean, just terrible. Retire, please.
Primitives from the 7th century.
Did you catch that? Did you make it through the whole clip? It's not easy. It's not easy, but embedded in there, and that's why we prefer a transcript over the actual audio, embedded in there is something you need to know. It's an argument that is being test-driven, and since no one, to our knowledge, has pushed back against it, may be in full operation now, it's an argument for nuclear weapons against Iran. And here's to restate, in case you couldn't make it through the accent, here's what he said. Nearly 10% of all casualties in the Second World War happened at the Battle of the Bulge, which, of course, at the end of the war. The Battle of Okinawa, 50,000 casualties, nearly 13,000 killed on that island, which is what convinced Truman, Harry Truman, the then president in 1945, we'd lose 1 million men if we didn't drop the atomic bombs that we did. Did you hear that? That's Mark Levin's counsel to our sitting president, Donald Trump, right now. You are looking at a choice between the catastrophic loss of your troops in a ground war or the use of nuclear weapons, which, in a sense, if you think about it, just think about it for a second, is actually an act of peace. It's an act of peace. The most humane thing you could do is to end this now with nuclear weapons. That's the case Mark Levin is making to the president, who just last week recommended that all Americans watch Mark Levin's show. Okay. This is not like crazy dot connecting here. This is one-to-one. This is really obvious where we're moving. And again, we're moving toward the use of weapons of indiscriminate mass destruction, possibly nuclear weapons, but non-conventional weapons. Not bombs dropped from the air or missiles launched from launchers, but the use of weapons that have never been used in war ever. And the argument is the same argument that you heard in 1945, or didn't hear, by the way, if you're an American civilian. No one ever cuts you in on this. Thank heaven for Mark Levin saying it out loud so the rest of us can at least follow along and know what we're in for and implicated in. but the argument that it's actually much more humane to kill tens, hundreds of thousands, millions of civilians than it is to like fight it out with the Marine Corps on the rocky shores of mainland Iran. That's the argument. But it's not just the argument that one guy in cable news is making. It is the logic of escalation in this war, because in some sense, Mark Levin is right. We are not going to open the straits with the United States Marine Corps, the 82nd Airborne, or the Tier 1 operators that everyone on cable news seems to know so much about. The Tier 1 operators, Tier 1. Just guys, like some of the best guys actually in America could be killed in this. That's a better way to put it. It's a more real way to put it. They are not going to open the strait.
So this is exactly why, and I'm going to bring you more on this after we go through Tucker and everything, but this is why Pete Hegseth has gotten rid of the 2 generals and then the chief of staff, Randy George, I believe his name is. He forced him into retirement and then got rid of 2 generals. Apparently, from what I'm hearing, and I'll show you a clip on it later, it's because these are the men who are saying we're not willing to put boots on the ground and we're not willing to support the use of nuclear weapons. Apparently, that's what's going on. Apparently, these men, these generals, are seeing what's happening, and they're advising the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. They're advising for him to not do what he's doing and to appeal to the president's sense of decency and handle this a different way. And they don't want to do that because they're not allowed to do that. Because whether it's BB himself or the ghost of BB, I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't seen him. He hasn't visited the White House. Comes to the White House every 48 hours to just check on things. He has a set of keys, his own key to the White House. So he hasn't been there in a while. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But apparently they're not allowed to. Which also, when we get into a few tabs down, probably like 10 tabs down, actually, when we get into the whole demon possession thing. Oh yeah, that's where this is heading. Let's jump into the next clip here really quick. Tucker once again.
And you have to think through, like, could there be a spiritual component to what we're watching? Is it just a conventional escalation ladder in a badly thought out war with ill-defined goals, and we just wound up in this really tough place where we face either humiliation on the one side or a nuclear launch on the other? That's part of what it is, but could it be something bigger than that? Is it possible that what you're watching is a very stealthy yet incredibly effective attack on what, from a Christian perspective, is the true faith, belief in Jesus? Is that what really is under attack here? Maybe that's what's been under attack for a long time, maybe our whole lifetime. Maybe almost everything we see is an attack on that faith, the one faith that is always attacked, always and everywhere for 2,000 years. It's one. Many faiths have been attacked. Many religious people of different religions have been killed over the past 2,000 years. But there's been only one sustained effort to exterminate a faith, and that's the Christian faith. Could that be part of it? And is it possible that the president sees this not just in geostrategic terms, in military terms, in economic terms, got to open the strait? Okay. Is it possible the president sees this in bigger terms? Sees this as the fulfillment of something or the elevation to some higher office beyond President of the United States? That's entirely possible. And that's not an attack, but it's also not a guess. Because at every turn since the inauguration last January, there have been religious leaders on the scene telling us out loud. Most of us ignored it because we're just so secular. We just sort of ignore it. Got some sleazy Southern Baptist preacher who says whatever for money. Okay, got it. We've ignored that this could actually be real. There's something going on here. And we shouldn't ignore that. We should always remember that just because we're a secular nation, have been overwhelmingly secular, maybe not coincidentally since we dropped those atom bombs 80 years ago, doesn't mean that we live in a world where everyone else is secular And it definitely doesn't mean that the spiritual realm has been eliminated, that is not real, that the only things that matter are the things that we can see and hear and feel and taste and measure. Talk about fake. Talk about a silly religion. That's the silly religion. In real life, in the life that every person lives, no matter what your religion or lack of it, there is a daily recurring experience of the transcendent, things you cannot explain or see or touch or feel or taste or measure. That is every bit as real. In fact, it may be determinative. And maybe the most important things in your life are the things you don't fully understand. All of us know that. And so when people start making reference to mystical religious principles that we don't understand, it doesn't mean that it's fake. They may be getting it wrong, but it doesn't mean there's not something real at the center of this. Of course there is. And only a civilization as bereft of spiritual language as ours wouldn't pick up on that immediately. What do you mean, praise be to Allah? What does that mean? Why are you sending this out on Easter morning? I mean, obviously it's designed to offend and degrade and defile. Got it. But is there something else going on here? And one of the keys to this is the behavior of a woman called Paula White. In a moment, we're going to speak to a man who studied her, who went to her church yesterday, called Nathan Abfell. Fascinating conversation with him, which we just finished, where he tries to understand who are these people encouraging the president of the United States to see himself as a millennialist figure, as part of the eschatology of like part of the end time story. Who are these people who are encouraging the rebuilding of the third temple in Jerusalem, whatever that is? Like, what is this? Is this Christianity? Is it something else? And he knows a lot about it, and it's a fascinating conversation that I hope that you will watch.
Now, let's get to Paula White. Just really quick, I have a couple of clips of her. Now, this is the person that, I don't know if you guys remember, can't say whether it was last week or the week before, but Candace has brought up Paula White, and she says these people who are around the president, they're making him think that he is something far more than what he actually is, okay? So we're going to delve into this just a little bit. Check this out. Here she is, as you can see her. This is the first thing where she compares him to Jesus. I don't know if Tucker went over this while we were playing these clips. Well, I'll play this anyway.
It is you are here because of God and because of you. And I just wanted to share this thought and then pray over President Trump. Jesus taught us so many lessons through his death, burial, and resurrection. He showed us great leadership, great transformation requires great sacrifice. And Mr. President, no one has paid the price like you have paid the price. It almost cost you your life. You were betrayed and arrested and falsely accused. It's a familiar pattern that our Lord and Savior showed us. But it didn't end there for him, and it didn't end there for you. God always had a plan. On the third day, he rose, he defeated evil, he conquered death, hell, and the grave. And because he rose, we all know that we can rise. And sir, because of his resurrection, you rose up. Because he was victorious, you were victorious. And I believe that the Lord said to tell you this. Because of his victory, you will be victorious in all you put your hand to.
So that is the first of her talking. And this is his spiritual advisor, just so you know. This is not just a lady that stops by every once in a while. The whole spiritual advising happens with this lady. I don't know if she's the head of it, but she's definitely on the council. And I find it very similar to what happens with Charlie Kirk. I had this little, not even a series, it's just an episode where I talked about him being like a manufactured messiah, because that's what they were trying to do with him. Turning Point Faith and Cornerstone and all these like religious conservative organizations were all having him at the center. He was the one that spoke everywhere. He's the one that went and talked everywhere. And then him being gone, they've now turned him into this messiah. I noticed the same thing happening around Trump as well. That's why Charlie was told when he started changing his opinion, he was told by that one lady that God will lift his hand off of you and it will be at your own peril if you continue to do this type of thing. You know, Trump probably has that same type of thing coming to him if he were to divert from whatever plan this actually is. A little bit more on, is that Paula? No, that's not Paula. Let's bring up the other Paula clip. Let me bring up that other Paula clip here. Because this one is a doozy. This one right here is a little bit of a doozy. Where's Paula at? Paula, come here. Come here, Paula. Oh, there she is. Oh, goodness me. Check this one out. This is a wild one. This is a wild one. Check this out. So this is Paula just doing her thing as she does. A lot of people think she's demonic.
Strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike and strike until you have victory. For every enemy that is aligned against you, let there be that we would strike the ground, for you will give us victory, God. I hear a sound of abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of shouting and singing. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. The Lord says it is done. For I hear victory, 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 victory in the corridors of heaven. In the corridors of heaven, victory, victory, victory. From Africa right now, Africa right now, Africa right now, from Africa right now. They're coming here. They're coming here. In the name of Jesus, from South America, they're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. South America, angelic forces, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement, angelic reinforcement.
This is the lady that Candace doesn't like. Surprise, surprise. Of course she doesn't like her. And that is not even the clip that I thought it was. This is not even the doozy. That was crazy, but that's not even the doozy. Paula White tongues. I know it sounds gross, right? I know. It's not quite what you think, okay? Get your mind out of the gutter.
Wherever I go ground because I
You know what she's very much like? She's like one of those black
and
preachers.
strike and strike and sound of victory. I'm downloading heaven.
Keep going, lady.
We pray for your continued blessing and favor to rest upon him. We pray for wisdom from heaven to flow facing today. I pray for your grace and your protection over him. I pray for your grace and protection over our troops.
So, just her screaming out like that. It's like a lot like that guy that I covered with you guys where he was like, she's a witch. And he's running, I think his name's Greg Price. Might be wrong there, but it very much reminds me of that same type of energy. And a lot of people, and this is just, I shouldn't even say a lot of people. I'm going to say just me. I feel like there's a lot of people who are like that, who do that type of theatric, and they are very much not of Christ. Okay, not to get into this whole thing, make it all a religious thing, but they are very much not of Christ. They are of something else, which is why they go into that whole thing. I think, if I had to compare it to, what the audience knows about Rob McCoy, Frank Turek, yes, they are well versed in the word, but also when they're in front of crowd, they are not bringing the word. They are bringing their own thing to it. They're not taking scripture. And when they do take scripture, it's only to twist it towards their agenda. That is the type of person. The same way Charlie had Rob McCoy. This is a perfect example. The same way Charlie had Rob McCoy and Frank Turek around him, the president has this Paula White lady. And she's not the only one. There is I don't know. I think that council has 15 people on there. But that's just to show a little bit of Paula White really quick. We have one more Tucker clip. Let's go.
Totally unprepared. Doesn't give them a map. Doesn't give them a plan of any kind, and he gives them no defense. And he says, point blank, again and again, you could be killed for this. Probably will be. In fact, they all were. So far as we know, they were all killed.
He's talking about Jesus and the apostles being killed. That's why he just laughed like that. They were all killed. He's the best. Oh my gosh.
That's the Christian message. Now, you may think that that's absurd. Many have. Nietzsche was revolted by it. Get it. But that is what Jesus said. He did not say bomb the bridges and the hospitals and the power plants to what? Bring my kingdom? No. He said just the opposite. If you want to change the world, you cannot kill. It doesn't work anyway. It never works. You have to be willing to be killed. You have to lay down your life. And that is the message. You think God couldn't come and throw the Romans out of Jerusalem? Oh, yeah. Of course. He chose the opposite. He chose to submit to them. Why? Because in that submission is victory over death. That's the true victory. That's the whole story right there. And anyone who perverts that is doing a grave crime against the faith itself. And that actually matters. You can argue about all kinds of points of doctrine and transubstantiation and a million things you can argue about, and Christians have argued about them for 2,000 years. But you can't argue that Jesus sends his people, God's people, his disciples out to kill. He sends them to do the opposite thing, to die. And they do. And the world is transformed because they did. That's the message. And anyone preaching the opposite gospel of any Christian denomination is saying something vile and dangerous and should be called out for saying it, because the message is not of conquering, it's of submission. Put your hand on the Bible when you take that oath, because in doing that, you acknowledge I am submitting to a law greater than myself. My own desire, my own whims, my will is not the final word. There is a limit to what you can do. And that limit is set not by you or any other person, but by God. That's what that means. Submit. There is time to fix this. There is time to prevent whatever is coming next, whether it's the murder of civilians and children by air, or whether it's something even worse than that. There is time to fix it. All is not lost. But the first step, and this is also the first step toward faith, is submission. There are things I want to do that I will intentionally not do. I will submit to a law higher than my own desire. That's the first step towards civilization. And it is the first and absolutely mandatory step toward averting the true disaster that is coming.
Man, Tucker, get into a lot of different things here. Now, one reason, if you hear him saying, you hold that, you touch the Bible, is because for some reason, and I didn't realize this, this whole scene looks different here, from this hand to this outfit to this face to this whole thing, and there being no hand there. It all looks very different now. A lot of revisiting. I remember Zach Costello, when we were talking, he was talking about revisiting interviews and looking at them again and hearing statements again in regards to Turning Point and whatnot. There's a lot of things that need to get revisited, I think. But yes, it was very odd. He didn't have his hand on the Bible. She just held it. Seemed very intentional. Now, for those of you that might think, well, has he ever put his hand on the Bible? He actually has. Here, while this was playing, I actually found a picture of this, right? So 2017, he was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to take on everything. Same positioning, too, almost. Yeah, you have him here. Much better outfit, I have to say. And then you got Barron. Yeah, shorter, much shorter. He's huge now. He's like 7 feet, 8 inches now. But hand on the Bible. Made sure to have his hand on the Bible there, right? Then we go into this, hand not on the Bible, making sure that's not on the Bible. Now, Tucker does talk about this more extensively. He says that's an intentional act when you do that. You don't just forget, and the people around you don't forget either, right? The person in front of him, why didn't he say? I think they even say the words, with your hand on the Bible. Why didn't the guy say, your hand? Right there. Put on there, like this. And this one like this. Can you do that, please? I don't know. And again, going back to revisiting, there was a time when the president was like, I don't think I'm going to get to heaven. He goes, I don't think I'm going to get in. And it didn't make any sense. People were like, what are you talking about? You're fine. This is just a few months ago. He said, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to let me in. Why would you say that? Well, we revisit and now we look and we go, oh, okay. Maybe because there was something planned. Maybe he understood that there was a big plan that needed to be executed. You know? Very, very, very crazy to see. A lot of people very happy with what Tucker did. Right? Tucker is the only political figure I can think of who's become more moral during his time in public life. That is very true. You see that happening more and more. He's becoming more himself as he's fired from Fox and has to do this whole thing. Of course, Micro Mark, he has this to say. Carlson has lost his mind. Now, this is just because, Tucker was talking about not having the hand on the Bible and, not mocking another religion. It's not what Easter is about. I think most of us who are of that faith can agree. Easter is not about mocking other religions. It's about celebrating our own. He is risen. He is risen indeed, right? I'll play a little bit of it, but I'm sure we saw it already here.
Effective attack on what, from a Christian perspective, is the true faith, belief in Jesus. Is that what really is under attack here? Maybe that's what's been under attack for a long time. Maybe our whole lifetime. Maybe almost everything we see is an attack on that faith. The one faith that is always attacked, always and everywhere for 2,000 years. Many faiths have been attacked. Many religious people of different religions have been killed over the past 2,000 years. But there's been only one sustained effort to exterminate a faith. And that's the Christian faith.
I think that's 100% true. I've noticed that quite a bit, that nobody has. I've never seen any other type of, like, you ever seen in Brazil? They got a flood because of it, I think. They're mocking God. But it's like the devil is like whipping Jesus. It's like a parade that they have. And there's like this thing with horns and they're doing all this stuff. It's crazy to see. And they're like hitting Jesus. And it's a wild, wild looking thing. And then they got like a massive flood afterwards. But you don't really see that with any other religion, really. You don't really see parades taking off that way. You don't really see Satanists trying to force their way into any other type of temple or mosques, any other place. You don't see that as much, but you'll see them try to do it to Christianity. Even Chunk Yogurt, as he's affectionately called by many who have known him over the years, he says, people tell me I have to hate Tucker Carlson, but no one in the mainstream media was ever this decent to us. No president should mock Islam. They have smeared Muslims to help that place right there. Seems like it. Am I supposed to disagree with this? Are we not a theocracy? And God willing, we will never be. We are not a theocracy, and God willing, we will never be. So, even people on the right, even people on the left are starting to look at Tucker. I saw this one clip where somebody was just like playing clips of Tucker, and they were like, one of these blue-haired people, and they're like, Tucker's speaking facts? They're like, oh, I don't know how to feel about this. And that's what's starting to happen quite a bit. I'm telling you, he's positioning himself very presidential-like. Now, I know Tucker said all of this, but the president didn't hear a word of what Tucker said, because the president actually had this to say right here. Okay, let's read this together, ladies and gentlemen. A whole civilization will die tonight, never be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. Are we gonna get another monologue from Tucker today? I think that's what's gonna happen. I love monologue Tucker, by the way. I love it so much more than interview Tucker. I love monologue Tucker. It's the best. It's the best. Yeah. So it probably will. I don't want that to happen. But I was talking with BB and he says it probably will. Crazy. However, now that we have a complete and total regime change where different, smarter, less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? It's just up in the air. We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. But what if it doesn't end? You're saying God bless the people of Iran, but what if then, so it's either God bless them, and if things don't turn out right, you're gonna kill a lot of them? Okay. I don't, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I don't know what else to say about it. A lot of people are pissed off about this whole thing. But that's what he had to say. Saw what Tucker had to say. And then at 7:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, he was just like, Tucker said what? Oh, did he? He listened to Tucker's whole monologue. He sat there very somber, watching the whole thing, all 43 minutes of it. And then he went, a whole civilization will die tonight. What? Absolutely just wild. Of course, this is the crazy cat lady. She's like, what is this, psychopath? There's been no total regime change. Presumably, this is his open declaring victory, but who knows? It is never okay for an American president to speak like this. Never. This man is clearly unwell and unfit to hold office. Every single person in our government and Congress, to the Supreme Court, to the White House itself, has a duty to do everything they can to remove this man from power. That is friend of Candace, village crazy lady. You know, it's wild when you out crazy the village crazy lady. Marjorie Taylor Greene screaming 25th Amendment. Not a single bomb has dropped on America. We cannot kill an entire civilization. This is evil and madness. I would agree with that. You know, what people will do to spin this is they will say the civilization that exists there now is evil, right? It's evil. And it's not a true civilization. It's not a civilization that helps the people of Iran whatsoever. So they could say that's what he's getting rid of. But, I mean, I think we've already seen that little place in the Middle East. They've tried to do this very surgically, where they think there's one guy in a building and then they level the whole building and then 100 innocent people die, sometimes more. I think that's already been tried. I feel like it doesn't work. I mean, you know, I have faith. You know, the American military, most powerful, most precision out of all of them. But I feel like if you're dropping nuclear weapons, that's not gonna feel like you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss the target sometimes. Yeah, I feel that maybe. I don't know. Who knows? We gotta have faith. You don't support your troops, huh? It's crazy. It's a wild thing. So Justin, whole civilization will die tonight, never be brought back again. A lot of people are commenting on this. A lot of people are not liking what they're hearing. This person says Tucker Carlson knows that the president is either under demonic possession or he's the Antichrist. He's just not saying it directly yet. You know, I used to hear that Antichrist talk all the time in regards to the president. And I would be like, you're out of your mind. You're crazy. What are you talking? Because people have been saying this since like 2017. And I'd be like, what are you talking? Like this, that doesn't even make, you're not even trying to make sense if you're saying something like that. That was my view of it. You're not even attempting to make any sense. Now, I don't know. Candace Owens has this to say. She commented on the whole thing, of course. 25th Amendment needs to be invoked. He's a genocidal lunatic. Our Congress and military need to intervene. We are beyond madness. Pierce Morgan obviously has this to say. This is a brazen pre-admission of genocide against the Iranian people, which would obviously be a war crime. Madness. So they are on the same page. They were arguing just a month or two ago. They were in deep arguments about how each other felt. Now, all of a sudden, they are on the same page. Makes you think. Apparently, JD has doubled down in this whole thing. I got a quick clip of JD talking about this, basically doubling down on Trump's remarks and implying the use of possible nuclear weapons. Here.
We feel confident that we can get a response, whether it's positive or negative. We're going to get a response from the Iranians by 8 o'clock tonight. I hope they make the right response, because what we really want is we want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct. We feel confident.
Wow. 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock tonight. So is that like 10 hours, 9 hours away? We'll see. The imagery that will pop up from that will be terrifying if they don't make the right decision. This is a wild thing. This is a very wild thing to see happening. And I kind of get where people are coming from with the demon possession and whatnot. John Mappin starts talking about this whole thing. He says they have been hiding this DTT in plain sight, demon transfer technology. This is the why and the how of what we are witnessing. This is not Trump. This is not the president from 2015. We are witnessing a demon that has possessed his body and now controls his body. DTT has become a weapon against sanity, and it is destroying civilization. And then he tags Candace. And then it's in regards to another post where somebody says, I think he's under demonic possession, which is wild. It's a wild thing to bring up about a president. Ah, man. And yeah, I have to say it's completely possible. You know, and when he says, like, you know, this sounds ridiculous, but what he's talking about is like not even Mortal Kombat Ultra, as he's saying something like this. He's talking about like what you see in the movie Get Out. What he's talking about is, you know, when you give yourself over, right? One lady who is an American patriot, but she's like way more loyal to that little place in the Middle East. Great ally. She gives him 200 million. Another guy of that same persuasion gives him another 100 million. You can give yourself over because you know that you're going to have to do this exchange. When I was talking with Zach Costello, I was talking about how, you know, the president is a businessman. That's where he comes from. And in business, you're just like, yeah, you're going to give me this and I'm going to do whatever for you. And you don't realize if you're doing construction and you're doing that, you give me this, I give you concrete, I help you with the next pouring of the foundation of what you're doing. Those little transactions are fine. But when you get into politics, it's a different type of thing. And you start doing those type of transactions where it's like, you've given me $250 million. So the thing I do for you, yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, I'll always stay by your side. But then the thing becomes like, you got to kill people. And if you're not going to do it yourself by your own hand, you have to give the word that people are going to die. In fact, they might not even pose a threat to you. This has to be the worst thing you could possibly do. If you're defending your family, if you're defending your country, I think it's not the worst thing to do. Although it still wrecks the minds and the souls of the people that have to go through that type of thing. You know, I know officers that have had to do that type of thing. It's never good. They always feel bad, no matter what. But when you're doing it and the people are innocent, and then you hear there's like a school that just got like incinerated and a bunch of kids are gone. And you know that you're the one kind of, you're going like this with it. You want to be like this, but you're going like that. You know what I mean? Like you're the one making the decision. And you're doing it against everything that you said. That is where you have opened yourself up. This is a real thing too. I talk about stuff like this more in the members. I've talked about this before, but that is where you open yourself up to something dark being inside of you. When you do that, when it's been money and in exchange, and now you have the money, and now it goes against your integrity and against what your soul's telling you and your conscience and, you know, what you feel about, you know, whatever religion you have. When everything like that starts to get pulled apart, you've opened yourself up to something very dark entering you, right? That's why if you're like Ned Flanders and you're saying your prayers every day and you're doing all this stuff and you and your kids are singing hymns inside, you're not really opening yourself up to anything that dark. You're not opening yourself up at all. You're keeping yourself within, I don't know, God's realm, let's say. But when you start doing these very dark things that he's had to do, you do open yourself up to that. So I don't know about any demon transfer technology. This dude is a Scientologist. I don't know. Maybe it's within that realm. I have no idea. But I do know about, you know, doing too many things for money. You know, in Hollywood, they get dipped in baby oil. In politics, or, you know, when you're at the highest level of politics, you have to do things like what he's doing right now. And maybe that's why he said, I don't think I'm going to make it in. Honestly, guys, I don't think I'm going to make it. So, he said it for a reason. He knows exactly what he was doing there. So sadly, of course. And of course, you're going to hear some swearing right now, okay? Just brace yourself. Your kids are in the room. Cover their ears. Lower the volume. Whatever you got to do. Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this, and she said, this is exactly how I feel. Tim Dillon, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't give a fuck about Iran either. Sorry. Throw them out if you don't like them. It has nothing to do with me. And the fact that the idea that I have to give a flying fuck, you should be standing with Iran. Shut the up. Will you shut the up? If they want to throw the bums who run Iran out, throw them the fuck out. But the idea that the United States of America, when people can't afford houses and they can't afford health care, spends all its fucking time talking about the Middle East and fucking Arabs and Jews and religion and the fucking temple and slaughtering the heifer and Iran and Sunnis and Shiites. Get what the is going on? Truly. What the is going on? That we're told, well, is Iran Sunni or Shia? What is happening? Okay? Our own country is being destroyed and it's going down the toilet.
A lot of people are feeling that way. That's how a lot of people are feeling. That's why they love Tim Dillon, because he discusses it. I guess that's the clip, Lance. That was cool. Pretty long. We're gonna have to divide that into 2 clips, something like that. But yeah, that's what Tucker had to say. Who knows what Tucker's gonna say now? I will check to even see if Tucker. Yeah, I was trying to do the swear editing in real time, so sorry about that. I missed a few. I'm engaged just like you guys are. I will check and see if Tucker has updated at all with what he has just seen the president say. I doubt he will say anything. He will probably just keep it to a monologue, quite honestly. That's right. He has not posted anything since. So we'll see. We'll see how all this goes. Somebody just posted this. About Candace, the Iranian president tweets that he is willing to, okay, here, let's check that out really quick. Candace is updating us on something here. Obviously has to do with what we've been talking about the past hour. Let's jump in here and check that out real quick. This is, she says, the Iranian president tweets that he's willing to sacrifice his own life for people. The president, the American president, was willing to sacrifice Charlie Kirk and is willing to sacrifice every American life and livelihood for greater that place. When you look into that term, that's a term to look into. Who is the animal again? So that's just Candace bringing that up. Shout out to Lydia GS. Thank you so much for tagging me in that. I do try to stay up to date as we're going through this whole thing, to bring people updates as we're working through this whole thing. Hasn't been that funny of an hour, has it, guys? Huh? I mean, there was a Tucker laugh here and there, but but you couldn't fit too many of them in with what he was talking about. I feel like it would be a little bit insensitive if I was working in the Tucker laugh while he was talking about the things he was talking about. You know, the attack on Christianity, things like that. I can't really work that in and be like, they only attack one place. I can't really do that, guys. So it wasn't that funny of an hour, I gotta say. I have to say, I mean, but it was worth it because we got to hear what Tucker has to say. But I mean, sorry about that. Well, what can we do, you know? Interesting stuff, man. So 8 o'clock tonight, I assume they're running on EST. Barron will be live while all this is happening. Oh, no, Barron, I think Barron's not even going live today. Oh, man. Okay. I won't even be doing the members because I'm going to be doing the members earlier because Candace isn't even on. Oh, man. So we'll be there. And if it gets crazy, I'll go live again. That's what I'll do. I'll go live again. I could save it till the next morning, but I'll go live again, depending on where we're at. I got a wife that is like ready to pop. You know what I mean? We got like, what do we got? We got like 3 more days, something like that. No, 4 more days till the baby comes. And it's going to be so stressful. Anyway, for me, I'm going to have to be running back and forth and doing all sorts of things. I don't think I'm going to sleep that night. Anyway, let's get into some other things here, ladies and gentlemen. The intellectual dark web. The last hour's been heavy. Yeah, of course. I mean, Tucker's pissed. And also, as Tucker does this, as he decides to do this, there is a sacrifice that is happening. There is a sacrifice that's happening as he chooses to do something like this. He knows that he is going to get attacked. He knows that he is going to get slandered big time for what he's doing. He knows that, you know, it's not even out of the question that he needs protection to do something like this. Tucker Carlson says officials should refuse to follow the president's orders, according to the Wall Street Journal. So now that's happening, right? Like literally, he's flexing all the possible power that he has right now. And that could be detrimental to him, you know? People always say Tucker should have more security, especially when Candace talks about there being a credible threat to her and Tucker from Andrew Colvett. Andrew Colvett saying this to them. Now, more than ever, he really needs that protection. Right? And let's be honest, you know, because of his father, he has friends in the agency. He does. I know he does, for sure. His father worked for the agency for like 40 years, maybe longer. Or at least worked adjacent to it. So he has some friends there. Yeah, maybe they can keep him updated, but yeah, pray for Tucker. Pray for Tucker, honestly. I just want to see this really quick. I didn't even plan to show you guys this. I just want to see this. This is from the interview. They're talking about something happening in the White House, the spiritual stuff. Let's just go through this really quick.
It's disgusting at all levels. And we were talking about spiritual war. I think there's a massive spiritual war going on in the White House right now. And it starts with the spiritual leaders that are standing next to and over Trump.
I think a lot of us were too cynical and approached this as theater, which it may have been intended to be, you know, get whatever money hungry dispensationalists or, you know, fallen screwed up people who don't have real congregations and get them to sort of put the imprimatur of the New Testament on what is clearly in violation of like basic Christian principles. And, you know, let's get the evangelicals on board for this. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the whole story. Mm-hmm. I think these are instruments of spiritual war, these people. This is not just theater. Like, this is real.
100%. Yeah. Well, like we live in so when we look, let's go into the Old Testament again, you know, the tabernacle, the Holy of Holies, and then the outer rooms. There was a veil that separated spiritual from physical. When Christ died on that cross, what happened to that veil?
It was rent in half.
Tore down, which meant the spiritual world and the physical worlds combine. and hence the bridge from physical nation Israel to spiritual nation. We are bridged now through something far greater than physical, nationality, genealogy, all that. But that also brings deadly things with it, which is there's a darkness in the spiritual realm as well. And we live in that right now. And again, the devil comes as light. What better way to completely steer off good, generous, Christ-following Christians than sell something that kind of looks like Christianity? Create institutions that have literally all the resources in the world, but will keep you chained to their pews. Again, we're going to go back. Christianity is dangerous. The book of Acts, that church was dangerous to power and institution. Right now, the current institutional church structure is being used as a weapon for ill-gotten gain.
Against God's people.
Against God's people.
So that's exactly what I've been talking about. For those of you that watch the show, you guys know about the holy mob or the unholy mob, as we started coining it. What he's talking about is the turning point pastors. That's how I see it. He's talking about guys like Rob McCoy. He's talking about guys like Frank Turek. And obviously he's talking about the lady that I showed you, Paula White. He's talking about those exact people. They seem like they're a part of that whole thing. And that's how, in that way, I think Charlie was tricked. Because it seems like these people, you're meeting this person, he's being presented as a pastor, and here's the congregation, and here, sit down, talk with me, let's do a little fireside chat for everybody. It seems like that. Oh, make Turning Point Faith. Well, you know what Turning Point Faith is, and the next thing you know, there's 4,000 pastors. Charlie couldn't keep track of those guys. There's no way. There's no way he even met all of them. There's no way. Absolutely no way. There you go. And they start doing something that seems like it's of God. But then it's like just a sermon about Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson being demonic. It's just a sermon about how people need to change their minds on this place in the Middle East. It's just this sermon that's all political based. And you're just like, what is going on here? What the F am I dealing with right now? Why am I here? Are we talking about Candace Owens? How crazy I would feel if my pastor started talking about Candace Owens. I'd be like, hold on a second. I didn't press like and subscribe for this bullshit. What? I don't want to hear any of this. Like, what are we doing? Am I on my phone right now? Am I dreaming? Am I in front of my computer late night trying to build a show and I'm dreaming about this pastor telling me about Candace Owens? Is that what's happening? Anyway. Got to watch out for those guys. There's a lot of them. Like I said, Turning Point Faith has 4,000 pastors. 4,000. And all of them are like, demonic, evil. And it's like, do you have anything from the Bible? They're like, later with that stuff. Don't worry about that right now. Demonic, evil. I love you, baby. Love you. Okay. Hear the baby screaming. Baby can hear me yelling and stuff. Baby's like, why can't we go in there and have fun? Guy sounds like he's having a great time. Let's jump into the next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's get into Baron Coleman. Just a quick clip from Baron. I think this is the clip. Talk about what's happening with Theo Vaughn. Baron talked about the intellectual dark web. When I heard him talk about that, I was like, ooh, I like that topic. I like that topic a lot. Haven't heard that term in a very long time. And Baron says he might even go into it in another episode. I can't wait to hear that. If he does a whole thing on just that, it's just like incredible. I can't wait for that. But I will touch on it a little bit because as I was listening to this very short clip that someone tagged me in, so thank you for tagging me in that clip. As I was listening to it, I started realizing, because I had some tabs open already from the last show, I started thinking about Theo Vaughn. And I was like, this is what's happening to Theo Vaughn. Because it's not just that the intellectual dark web existed in the way that Baron's going to be talking about in a second. It's not just that. It's also the fact it also turns on you when you have misbehaved. And that's exactly what Theo's going through. He was embraced by the intellectual dark web. And I know that sounds weird, but I will explain. And then he started acting different. And then they started acting different towards him. Anyway, let's jump in. Your humble host. Should I just black out my picture? People say I should black out the Rogan picture just like he blacked out this picture. How'd you black it out like that, Baron? What is that? What'd you do? You just take it down? Like, what is that, a magnet? What you got going on there? Let me know how. Maybe I'll black it out. We'll see.
The easiest way to do that is government contracts or other rich people giving them money. So with OpenAI, for example, you got Larry Ellison at Oracle giving OpenAI a bunch of money, presumably for the product, but it's to make sure OpenAI has a competitive advantage and floats to the top. They don't want companies like Claude floating to the top because they don't play ball. So the goal is to crush the competition, create almost a monopoly for your favorite people, and they rise to the top. Well, it happens at all levels. It's not just big business. It happens at the nonprofit level. It happens all over the place. And so anytime someone starts to get on the ascendancy, they're going to put a handler in front of them. That handler will make sure they stay on the straight and narrow. And they might be an anti-establishment type person, but they'll have a semi-anti-establishment person handling them. Are you familiar with something called the intellectual dark web? I don't want to get too far off the beaten path, but the intellectual, maybe I'll do this tomorrow. The intellectual dark web was a bunch of people who presumably, and we all thought, were kind of counter-establishment, anti-establishment people. Brett and Eric Weiss, not Weiss, Weinstein. Brett and Eric Weinstein, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Barry Weiss, I think, was part of this. These were all people that we assumed were anti-establishmentarianisms, anti-establishment people. The reality was, though, it was a coordinated funneling system. It was a way to discover new talent, but keep them on the team. So if you wanted to rise through the anti-establishment ranks, if you were a Tim Pool or somebody like that, you could rise through the ranks, but you had to do it through this intellectual dark web. They would put you on a podcast that was kind of lower budget, lower end, didn't have as much of a following, see how you did. If you got a pretty good response, then you go up to the next level. And it all funneled up to Joe Rogan, who gave the final blessing, namaste. And then you were off on your own. Joe Rogan made a lot of people. Joe Rogan didn't pick people out of a vacuum. The dark web the intellectual dark web funneled people up to him. And once they were tested, trued, maybe got a handler, then they were able to be blessed by Joe Rogan and pushed out as an anti-establishment figure. But that person was controlled opposition, by and large. I should have prepared that show before I went into that. But that's kind of the system that is in place. That's sort of it. I hope that explained it. That's what a handler is.
Very interesting stuff. He said do it tomorrow, and that was yesterday's live stream that he saw. Yesterday's broadcast. You know, he's a broadcaster, but yesterday's broadcast, and I guess he's going again today. Okay, cool. I hope he talks about it because that would be very interesting to hear more about. But a lot of people didn't quite know and don't quite know what he's talking about. This is not a made-up thing. This is a real thing. It wasn't just like something people said. As you can see here, this is Joe Rogan's post. We have Jordan Peterson. This was literally, when you talk about the intellectual dark web, this is the picture that pops up. It's Sam Harris, it's Joe Rogan, it's Dave Rubin, it's Eric Weinstein, along with his brother, and then also Jordan Peterson, you can see at the left here. And at the head of the table is Ben Shapiro. At the head of the table is Ben Shapiro. Very interesting stuff. Now, Jordan Peterson, of course, was made by Joe Rogan, right? He was just a teacher. He went on Joe Rogan. Joe gave him his blessing, and Jordan Peterson became one of the biggest things. I mean, he overshadowed all of these guys, all of them, easily, very easily. But even he eventually had to tie himself to Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire. Didn't make any sense. Jordan had enough money to hire a team, to hire someone to manage that team. At one point, Jordan Peterson was making like $2 million a month. He clearly was able to do this, but for some reason, he something compelled him to hitch himself to the Daily Wire. I've always felt a little weird about that. But then when you see how Jordan Peterson talks about that certain place in the Middle East, you start to understand where he's at. So the leash makes sense. Makes sense for him to go with that leash. Could have been by himself. Don't know why he didn't do that. But yeah, Joe Rogan made Jordan Peterson pretty much. Jordan would have been good on his own, maybe. But, I mean, Joe Rogan rocketed him right away. He also gave air to Sam Harris. But again, Sam Harris was already a very known author. And plus his mother, I don't know if you know this, his mother is the creator of the Golden Girls. Did you know that? His mother is like one of the most prolific, or prolific? Why? Come on, say it right. Prolific. Prolific. There we go. I got it. I do English just fine. Thank you. Writers of sitcom material in history. Super famous mother. A lot of people don't know that about Sammy Harris there. Little bit of a Nepo baby. People argue that because they're like, his mom actually handled his book deals and his publishing deals. So actually he is a Nepo baby. But again, you know about all these guys. But this is a real picture. This is a real thing that used to go on. That was the intellectual dark web. We used to talk about it like that. Even when you look at the comments, it's so funny. Because people are like, man, this, like, I mean, one person's like, oh man, I cannot trust like that, Joe. Like, some people didn't like it. Some people said debatable. Some people said the bane of left-wing politics. I can imagine the topics you guys talk. I can't even imagine the topics you guys talk about. Some guy said I have a stiffy. Imagine the average IQ in this room. Only greatness only. Then one person saw it. It was like 1 out of every 20 people. He said, what an op lineup, you know? But it might be optimal that he's referring to. The intellectual dark web, a wrapped mystery and conundrum. I mean, this used to bring out the nerds. Conundrum, locked in an enigma, future world domination plans. This person didn't realize 400 weeks ago how right they were. Some person said the Last Supper. People used to very much admire all these people. It's not so much anymore. It's a little different now. As you guys know, right? As you guys tell me to take down my picture of Joe Rogan. It's a little different now. But this is a real thing. And I started realizing this.
Yeah, they're breathing.
This is what Theo Von was going through. Now, if you look into Theo Von, when Barron talks about you having to go through all of these people. Now, Theo Von didn't have to go on to Dave Rubin and this and that. But there was something that had to happen that Barron was right about. Most people do have to do this, but you have to get onto his podcast. You have to give a good time on the podcast as well. This is Theo Von. This is 7 years ago. Look at that Theo. Bright-eyed, bushy tail, doesn't know what's going on. So this is 7 years ago. Then I started looking into Theo's podcast. I don't know why all these are reset like this. But I started looking into his podcast. Oh, I can't believe it's reset to that degree. Did I reset the computer or something? Why is it like this? But basically, you go back, okay? This is going to take a while now. I'm not going to be able to do this, but I will just explain it. You go back 7-8 years in Theo's podcast, there is a distinct change in what's happening with him right as he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, you might just say, well, that's just the Joe Rogan bump, and that's what it does. But like Barron said, it opened him up to all of these famous people starting to flood in on his podcast. The first one that was super famous, in my opinion, right? I know there's some comedians, you might argue this, but the first one I saw was RFK. That was episode 370. You had RFK. And also, as you go through all these episodes, and you can go and check it on his YouTube, you have a bunch of him where he's like he does this distinctly. He will put this and this up. And he's doing these hand symbols, and he's doing this in certain episodes. And then all of a sudden you look, and all of a sudden from there, the episodes start doing better and better and better. I don't know what that means. I know they're just hand symbols. I get it. But he is doing it, and it's very odd. It's just because he's posing for a thumbnail. So why pose like that? And he does this 2 fingers, and this, he does that multiple times. I think that this was a guy who was trying to climb through that same intellectual dark web. Now, obviously, because he's a comedian, he has a direct funnel to Joe Rogan, and he's a loved comedian. You know, see, there's even one of them. It's like, it's just weird. And I know there's gonna be people who are like, it's just rock and roll, and it's like, okay, but it's not. So have fun with that delusion of yours. Ask the rock and roll guys what it means. They'll tell you, right? I have an episode of, you know, all sorts of rock and roll guys being like, yeah, we were occultists and demons and this and that. So please stop telling me that it means I love you. Please stop telling me it means rock and roll. You're wrong. So you see multiple things like this with Theo as you go through the episodes. And as soon as he hits, this is right around the time too. As soon as he gets with Joe Rogan, all of a sudden it's Brian Callen. All of a sudden it's Jordan Peterson. All of a sudden it's all of these famous people just start rolling in. And I know you're thinking, well, Theo's just great. Yeah, that hand symbol too. It's just weird. And I'm not talking down about Theo. I think Theo had the exact same experience that Candace had. And I think they've talked, and I think they've had private conversations. I think he had the exact same experience where he realized there are some people around him that are trying to handle him, which is why Joe Rogan constantly tells him every time he comes on the podcast, move to Austin, come be with us. You can hang out with us. Just come be with us. And Theo goes, nah, I kind of like Tennessee, and keep staying in Tennessee. It's because there's no one to handle him in Tennessee. There's no one who can do anything to him, keep him in any box in Tennessee. In fact, it's where he gets exposed to people like Brett Cooper and Candace Owens. But I just found it very interesting when Barron said that, because I already knew that that's how it worked, and that Joe Rogan was at the top of it. Ben Shapiro was at the top of it at first, but Ben Shapiro was like the political avenue that you took, which is why Ben Shapiro tried to cut down Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens when they were young, because he was like, oh, these guys could overtake me. I don't want to bring people in who can overtake me in the political realm. Joe Rogan in the comedy realm and otherwise, he was able to just shoot people into stardom, and there you go. As long as you were willing to play ball, it seems, right? And then again, as you keep going, it goes from RFK to it goes from RFK to Joe Rogan, of course. Kyle from the Nelk Boys. Kyle from the Nelk Boys is good friends with Dana White. Dana White comes on the show. Then that is the beginning. If you look into this, you can look into it. This is the beginning of Theo being positioned to be this political voice for the GOP. He has Kyle on, then he has Dana White on. Dana White is talking to him about advertisers who have tried to tell him who. This is Dana White saying, we had an advertiser who wanted to pull out because of Dana White being vocal about his support for the now president. And Dana White goes into this whole speech. It's actually pretty cool. And he's like, F you. He's like, I say F you to anybody who tells me you're going to tell me who I can vote for. And Theo Von's sitting there literally like, yeah. And he gets into it. And that's where it starts. Then you start seeing more appearances from RFK. Then you start seeing more appearances from political figures. Then you start seeing JD Vance. Then you see the president. And that's how it worked with Theo Von. And I think at a certain point, that intellectual dark web that Barron's talking about, it can turn on you. This is why you see Theo Von with these characters, right? Because he was being positioned slowly, right? This happened, then he got this interview. Well, actually, what happened is first the dinner happened, then they went out to Miami and had a bunch of fun together, then this interview happened. Right. And I'll show this one instead, because this is from a year ago. As you can see, Theo's very happy in that one. Right. Then he got this interview and it was like, whoa, Theo Von's on another level. Right. But as this is happening a year ago, Theo Von doesn't realize he is just, saying that he wants to help America. That's what he's saying in the face of the 2024 election. He just wants to help America, and he thinks this is the best thing for America. Now, why does he think it's the best thing for America? Well, I don't know. Who knows, right? He's kind of getting handled. I don't know who's in the back. I don't know who his agents are or his tour manager or anything like that and who they're connected to. But I know what I'm seeing front facing. So why did he start thinking that? Now, I pull back from this interview because then you see just 10 months ago, he has this thumbnail. Theo doesn't look as happy, does he? When he first met JD, he was real happy, real bright-eyed, bushy-tailed a year ago. Then 10 months, 9 months ago, he has another interview with JD, and he's just not so sure. And this is around the time Theo starts speaking out. This is around the time he's saying free Gaza on camera in front of people, and he's saying all sorts of things. And also, it's around the same time that he has an interview with Candace Owens. So he has an interview with Candace Owens a year ago. I went deep into this. He has an interview with Candace Owens a year ago. Then he sits down with JD Vance, and he's not that happy anymore because he's starting to realize what's happened to him, what he's been used for. He starts to get it. And then the next thing you know, you got Joe Rogan looking at you like this when you come on the podcast. You're telling him that Palantir's involved in Gaza, and Joe Rogan's looking at you saying, are you sure? And then Joe Rogan says, let's look that up. Let's fact check Theo. And then Theo turns out to be right. And Joe says, well, this is not a really trustable source here. But it's your source that you trust that pays you Perplexity, this AI that like is paying to be, it's like an advertiser on Joe's show. Plus he loves it. He legitimately loves it, I guess. Then he says, it's not really a trusted source. I can't really trust that. Because he's friends with Peter Thiel, right? So this interview with Theo Von and Joe Rogan, this is what I was calling yesterday a temperature check. This is to check your temperature. What's going on with you, right? I understand what you'll say when you're just at a random place and somebody films you. I understand that you'll say some things, but what are you willing to say on the biggest platform? Are you going to walk the line that you know you're supposed to walk? You know what you've done. You know what you've helped us do. Are you going to walk the line? Theo said no. And that's why he had Joe looking at him all weird, being all weird. It's what Dave Chappelle once called a public flogging. And a lot of people don't agree with this because they're like, they're friends. These are jokes. Here's the thing. If I'm friends with you and we're in front of, how many people are we in front of right now? 7,800 people, right? We're in front of 7,800 people. And I say to you, I start calling you crazy. I start calling you dumb. But I'm joking. I'm the silly guy. And I start saying these things. And you have no recourse. You have no recourse to say anything back. I am joking. But I also am putting the words and the situation of me saying these things to you very publicly for everyone to see. So I do have the avenue of saying, I was just kidding. We're good friends. But there also is the avenue of you getting this weird public flogging. Yeah, that's what Dave Chappelle calls it. A public flogging is what he calls it. So I think that's what's happening to Theo Von. I think he was a part, not really of the intellectual dark web, because that term hasn't been used in a long time, because the dark web kind of fell apart. Sam Harris kind of went nuts. Ben Shapiro's just like, I don't know, guys. Like, BB has such a nice doghouse for me here, and it's like perfect, and I just kind of really like being in that doghouse. So you guys have fun with your web. Matt Walsh, put me on your shoulders. Uppies, please. Thank you. Gotta go, guys. Right? Thank you, Mr. Shapiro. Thank you for being on here. I can feel your warmth on the back of my neck. Thank you so much. You know? You know? It fell apart, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Eric Weinstein wants to desperately be a part of the decision-making that Trump's making. He's made that very clear. He said that multiple times. It's very weird. He's like, I don't understand why I can't be a part, and like I'm trying to get my points across and they're not listening. And he was like saying all this stuff to Joe Rogan before. A bunch of it. And then Dave Rubin. Who even cares about Dave Rubin anymore, right? I mean, you know, not even as a joke do I want to like find his clips and like even make fun of them. Like, people, who's listening to Dave Rubin anymore, right? That's done. And then Jordan Peterson, you know, he went off the deep end. He's like, you know, people should have to give their IDs and this and that. And, you know, I don't want to say too much about Jordan Peterson because I know he's sick and I hope he doesn't pass away, because even if I don't agree with everything he said, he has still helped me and millions of people through some dark times. So it fell apart is what I'm saying. Now there's more of the manosphere that exists. There's more of this unspoken dark web that exists. And Joe Rogan seems to just be the head of it. And there is a podcast circuit that you go through until you get to Rogan. I have a friend who's actually clawing through that right now. Right now, he's actually going through it. He's been mentioned on Joe Rogan's podcast. He's been on multiple podcasts that are like adjacent to Joe Rogan. And it seems like that is a possibility for him very soon. I'll let you know if it actually happens. But yeah, he's friends with all the guys. He's trying his best to make it happen. But he's a demonologist. So I think if things go left, he'll be able to click into it quicker than other people would. So there's that at least. But yeah, it was a weird thing that happened with Theo. Very weird. So that whole thing that we saw as he was saying all this stuff, you know, he was just going into this whole rant.
It's been happening.
Was a temperature check. And, you know, in terms of the temperature check, he failed. He was like, he was saying whatever he wanted to say. He was bringing up things, fact-checking Joe at certain times, telling Jamie, hey, did you find the thing that I was looking for? Like really pushing for the things that he was making vocal to be spoken about. That's a temperature check that's happening. Kind of like this temperature check. Or I shouldn't even say that. This is also a part of Theo's temperature check. I'll show you something else in a second. This is also a part of it. When I showed you this Bren guy talking about Theo, talking about, hey, look, he's friends with Candace Owens. They're like pointing that out. They're making sure that you guys understand, hey, alert, alert. There's something going on here, right? I like Theo. Candace is corrupting. Now, this Bren guy is not like this huge influence or anything, but there is little things that they put out there. Joe Rogan got his own temperature check. I remember I've talked about this. People are just revisiting this now. I talked about this like a year ago. You know, Joe Rogan had this guy on. This guy's born in a, you know, James Lee even asks. He says, where is Osborne? He asked Grok, where was Oz Perlman born? That's the man who's on the screen right here. He's a mentalist, okay? Grok gave him his answer of where he was born, but he moved to the U.S. at age 3. People even say this was a temperature check for Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan was kind of saying things that Theo was saying, even agreeing with Theo a little bit the past 2 times. He, you know, not the last time, the time before that, agreeing with some things that Theo was saying, right? Then this guy came on Joe Rogan's podcast and actually he guessed his ATM PIN code. It was very weird. Here, check this out.
Online.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm skeptical. You're skeptical.
Well, especially someone famous.
Yeah. Fully. Plus, you can't change that, so I'm not going to do that to you.
Data dumps. Yeah.
You know, if I told you right now to make up a random number, I'd say, get out your calculator. I'd love that. And you add it up and you do a random number. You know, screw calculator. I want it to be spontaneous. Would your wife know your ATM PIN code? No?
No.
Lie to me. Do not tell me your real ATM PIN code.
Okay.
Obviously, unless women smaller. Men like to lie by saying things are bigger, right? No shocker.
Okay.
So I don't think I would tell you right off the jump for me that means that your first number, you don't have to say anything yet, I wrote 2020, is smaller. That's what most people do when they're rushed. If I had given you 5 minutes, you would have done this different.
No, I wouldn't have.
No, you would have.
Why would I have?
Because you would have thought about it, and then people go down a different path.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, worked out for me either way. You'll be honest if I'm right.
Okay.
I got a hit, which means it's a 0 or 1. I think the first number of your code's a 1, isn't it? Your real PIN code.
My ATM
PIN code.
Why would I tell you that on the air?
Should I only show this to you?
Sure.
Only show it to you?
Yeah.
Can we acquiesce that the first number I got was correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you did repetition. So yeah, I like the fact when people always say to me it's fake when they watch the videos. They're like, you must have set up. Joe doesn't even want this to happen right now. He had no idea this was going to happen. You used 2 numbers in repeats. What that means is you probably did the same thing. You also didn't use any of the same numbers. I know there's not a 2, a 0, or a 2 in it. I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching you while I say it. You put the hand up. You might as well have said yes to me out loud. So now I know. Think of the second number.
Okay.
Third number, fourth number.
Got it.
Every time you did it, it's a data point.
Okay.
I'm only going to ask you one more question. I'm not looking for answers. The last number is the biggest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm showing this to you. Is there a camera behind me? I don't want to make sure. I'm only going to show it to you. It's not 2020. How'd I do, Joe? Is that your ATM PIN code?
Yeah. That's weird. I'm skeptical.
People say that this was like a little temperature check for Joe. It was kind of a little nudge like, hey, you know, just so you know, you're saying a little thing, you're getting a little reckless about the mouth when it comes to, right, the greatest ally. You're saying some things you shouldn't be really saying. We don't know if you're going the Candace way with things, but just in case, we're just going to let you know, we can send a random guy who can just tell you your ATM PIN code. And if we know that, then what else would we possibly know? Just so you understand. That's what people say that was. They say it was like a little temperature check. That's what I thought it was. I said he got a message that he couldn't refuse. That's exactly how I thought of it right away. I thought that he got a little bit of a check there. Because that is a weird thing to have happen, and he didn't plan for it to happen. And, you know, the guy just kind of did it. He was like, hey, I'm just going to do this really quick for you. And that was it. And it was the whole thing was just a weird interview. The whole thing. And he guessed other things that only Joe would know. Very weird things. So a lot of people speculated that it was like kind of like a little bit of an intel thing because the ATM PIN code's kind of crazy. But again, you have this way of being like, well, I'm just a mentalist. That's all. That's all this was. It doesn't matter where I was born. I mean, who cares? Doesn't matter who I'm loyal to. Who cares? Then I look deeper into that guy. That guy, Oz Perlman, his father is known as a spiritual advisor. That's what his dad's known as. There's only one interview of his dad that I've been able to find, but he's talking about being a spiritual advisor. Don't know what that means. Also from that place. So those temperature checks happen.
My frame of reference.
If you guys remember, there was another temperature check. Dave Chappelle, Oprah. One of you guys brought this up the other day. Dave Chappelle and Oprah. That was a definite temperature check. You just did this whole thing. We're checking if you are going to be crazy. We're checking if you're going to tell the truth a little bit too much. We're checking to see where you stand with things. Like I said before, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, before Charlie passed away. That was a temperature check. Charlie gave the middle finger in a very eloquent way through what he was saying and what he was asking Ben. Joe Rogan gives Theo a temperature check. This whole dark web thing, it goes past just the intellectual dark web of a few guys who were like conservatives. It goes way past that. It's a whole network in Hollywood. That's why your agent is called an agent. That's why your manager is called a manager. That's why your assistant is all around you. I was even talking about it with somebody, talking about Joe Rogan. And I was like, I'm sure at one point he felt like having all these military guys around him was protecting him. And then I'm sure at some point he realized, wow, these military intel guys are just keeping tabs on me. They're in his studio while he records. They're in his comedy club while he performs. They're outside his house when he goes to sleep. They watch him. They know who he meets up with. They know who he talks with. His phone is for sure bugged. Those are his words, not mine. There's a weird thing going on. So you could call it the dark web still, because that still does make sense. And that's how we've all realized it, because they all used to call it that. But yeah, it's way bigger than just some little guys with micros, right? Some little Ben Shapiro's, small horses, and micro marks. Goes beyond that. Goes beyond that quite a bit, you know? And that's why, you know, you can give your middle fingers in certain ways. Theo Vaughn, this is actually his post. I didn't show you guys this yesterday. He's like, grateful I got to spend Easter with my friends. Thank you, God, for filling my day with so many wonderful people. And thank you for giving me a place to bring parts of me that feel broken. Right? That's Candace. That's Brett, you know, and then like a bunch of people that he's just spending all his time with, just letting people know, hey, this is where I'm at. And again, this is probably why the suggestion keeps coming up from Joe to move to Austin. And you would say Joe wants everyone to move to Austin. He really wants Theo to move to Austin. It's a little different. Theo refuses. He says, I'm good. Joe actually said the term, when you stay in Tennessee too long by yourself, you get squirrely. You get a little squirrely. But Theo has friends there. He has a bunch of friends. Someone messaged me and said they're a friend of a friend. They've spent many times with Theo. I don't know. What do you mean he's by himself? He's not by himself. He could hang out with Candace and George every weekend if he wanted to. What's he getting squirrely from is the question, right? I mean, this is the best example of a temperature check. We don't even know if this is the real Dave Chappelle. We don't even know if Dave Chappelle's around anymore. This might have been this guy's last interview. We don't even know it. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. I think that's really, when Barron brought that up, I was like, "Ooh, I like the way he talked about it. The funneling system. That's exactly what it was. It was a funneling system. Like, if you remember, even talking about Dave Chappelle, when he was younger, when he was like in his early 20s, talking about having to go through the ranks. He was in movies with Martin Lawrence, but he was also in a segment with Howard Stern where they made him wear ladies' earrings. They made him wear lipstick. They made him wear big prosthetics and a blouse, not a dress, but a blouse. And he was acting like he was some lady. I think he was like being Robin or something like that. And Howard Stern's like, "Oh, what do you think, Robin?" And it's a weird, demented scene. It seems so weird and dystopian. It's so odd. I don't even like to see him like that anymore. But that's like him going through the ranks. Then after that, he got some movie deals. Then he kept going through the ranks. Then he went to the high-level comedian place. Killing Me Softly was the comedy special that all of us remember, right? Where he's talking about the homeless guy on the bus, and the homeless guy's like, and then the bus shoots out, and it's like, "Oh, it hit me. Oh, it's like poison." That whole thing, you know? It was a great comedy special. And then he kept going. Then the Chappelle show happened, and it was like continued checks on, can you keep on doing this? And handlers around him the whole time. I believe that Neil Brennan is a talented comedian who co-wrote Chappelle's show with Dave Chappelle, but I also believe he was like a handler. Because when Chappelle decided to leave and go to Africa, Neil knew that Dave at the time, maybe a lot of you don't know this, he was a devout Muslim. He didn't drink or smoke or do anything. He'd do the prayers and all that stuff. Everything. He was devout. So when the media came to Neil and said, "Hey, do you think Dave Chappelle's smoking crack?" Instead of saying, "No, I know my friend. He's a devout Muslim. He doesn't drink or smoke," he said, "I don't know." And he was the one that let the rumor about Dave Chappelle being off in Africa smoking crack, if that makes any sense. Dave Chappelle's from Ohio. He could just go to Ohio and find some pretty good rocks, I would think. Go all the way to Africa. It's probably more of an import in Africa. You know what I mean? They probably just don't know how to make it the same that they do in America. So, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. Probably got a different recipe over there, right? Doesn't hit the same, I would imagine. But yeah, that's what happened with him. People say that Jamie is Joe's handler. Candace talks about handlers presented to her that she got away from. They presented themselves as she started working for PragerU. After she had to do what Kanye did recently, go to this rabbi, apologize for something she said. Her cancellation went away. Next thing you know, she had these people around her. Charlie Kirk the whole time having handlers around him. That's why I say it goes a little deeper than just the intellectual dark web that we know of today. It spans Hollywood, entertainment, media. It's for sure spanned its way into YouTubers, podcasters. There's always somebody around, you know, that's handling someone. So Candace got away. Charlie tried to get away. His handler was Rob McCoy, I think. You know, I know that there was some spiritual advisor. I know Bill, his first mentor, passed away. Jeff Webb was some kind of mentor, but he also passed away. Rob McCoy and Frank Turek were known as mentors. They're still around. Charlie's not. Now they're taking everything Charlie said and just perverting it and twisting it. So that was a long way of just saying, Barron's right. Barron's right. Barron's very right about this. And also, shout out to Barron. He sent me a message yesterday with a delightful black hoodie at his merch store. Finally. I felt attacked. I made it vocal. As soon as I get my hands on those black hoodies, that's all I'm going to be wearing. I'm telling you. Till I come out with some new merch myself. But thank you so much, sir, for the black hoodies. If you're still watching, thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Someone said this episode is wild. I know. When I knew it was going to be wild, listen, Candace is off. Not doing any breakdowns right now. Okay? I know I'm the recap king. I know it. It's okay. Somebody made a crazy cartoon of me. Should I show this now? I'll show it now before we switch up and go to the next thing. This is what is this? Wow. I have to show you guys this. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much for who made this. Who made this? Let me see the name on this. Hugh Mussy Chukon. I'm not even gonna Huge Chi. That's all I'm gonna say. Because you're trying to make me say something I don't want to say. I can tell that's what your name is. Talking about handlers. This is actually perfect. This is actually a perfect thing. Okay, red hat, completely out of touch. Would never wear a red hat. Absolutely never. You know? Oh, here.
Are you kidding? What are you talking about, man? That's crazy talk. Are you kidding? You can't say that. Don't you know they're keeping track of everything you say? You better shout out your 3 little words, like immediately, man. And don't forget to throw in some code words while you're at it. Blame it all on Balix Tones, Mortal Kombat, Philadelphia, and those nasty throttles in Romania.
Should I just black out my picture?
What are you talking about, man? That's crazy.
There you go. That's Joe. That's Joe talking to me. You know? But I mean, I can't blame it all on Balix Tones, but I'm just saying the whole sphere of information could be going a different way if Balix would just do what he was supposed to do, what we've always known him to do. Somebody just said, I don't really like what Tucker said. Why are you getting to me on X and just saying that? Come on. Why? You could just not like what he said in silence. It's completely fine. Completely fine, completely legal. You can just not like what he said in silence. I love what he said. I'll be honest with you. Absolutely loved what he said. I think what he said was absolutely incredible. And I love that he's willing to speak up and speak out against things that not many people would be willing to do in his position. Tucker Carlson could be just like Benny Johnson if he wanted to, and just be a company man and just do that and be loved by tens of millions of people. But he's choosing to put all of that out there and possibly sacrifice it and then be stateless, kind of. Stateless in the sense of like not on the left and not on the right. And just be in limbo. He could easily, that's not a thing that a lot of people do. Especially, listen, you can do that now. You're just at home and you're like, I don't know which one. Blah, 2 wings of the same bird. Blah. You can just do that. That's fine. Tucker Carlson makes a massive living from being a conservative voice. So for him to do what he's doing right now is very sacrificial of him. Very, very sacrificial of him. Have to be respected. What did they just put out here?
CIA was very responsible.
Is this the real CIA? Is this the real agency? Is this really them? Oh my God. Is it really them? It is. What did they put out there? What is this?
CIA was unbelievable.
On Saturday. Are you serious? That's like, I can't even play that song. It'll get copywritten, but that's like a hip hop song. They put out listen, I'll repost it for anybody who wants to see it. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. In fact, I'm not just going to repost it like I support it. I'm going to quote tweet it and just say, wow. So you see that, you'll just see, wow, what a video for them to put out. What's happening right now in the world? What are we at? We're at less than 8 hours till we find out if Iran's going to get leveled. And when the president said, God bless the people of Iran, it might just be that he meant that they're all going to heaven. Is that what he meant when he said, God bless them? We'll find out. We'll find out in a hot second. Sean Ryan making himself known. He doesn't like what's going on. Nothing says peace like a whole civilization will die, never be brought back again. Ian Carroll jumps in. Oh, and by the way, God bless the people of Iran. Am I right? It's crazy. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody sees what's going on. So really funny. That person's like, I don't like what Tucker said. Like, well, everybody else does. So, so you're on your own with this one. Kind of. I'm sure there's many people who don't like any infighting. That's what people say. No infighting. No infighting. let's just do let's just do what they say. You know, that's why they were pissed at Candace, right? So you remember the whole thing with Kanye. That's the clip, Lance. I know it was a lot. That is the clip. There was a lot going on with Kanye West. I showed you guys this. He had this brilliant looking set. It was all so beautiful. He came back. He showed the world who he was. 80,000 person sold out show. Lauryn Hill in the mix. His daughter was in the mix. He did a Backstreet Boys song. Candace even commented on it. She said he defeated Hollywood forever, her brother, all of that. And then, boom, it started to happen. And this is how they go at you. This is how they go at you. Pepsi officially withdrew its sponsorship from the Wireless Festival after Ye was pronounced as the guy. Then the Wireless Festival boss stands by Ye. He actually released this statement where he's basically saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to back down from playing Kanye's music. He's apologized. What he feels what he did in his past is terrible. And I'm giving him another chance, and I want him to be at this festival. Of course, Milo commented on it. He said, cancel culture is finally dead, but I don't know if it actually is because, bang, Ye is now banned from the UK, so he can't perform at the Wireless Festival, as his presence would not be conducive to the public good. So somebody reached high up. They said, hey, Pepsi. Ben Shapiro on Matt Walsh's shoulders. He's like, let's go. We're at Pepsi. Matt, go through these doors. We're at Pepsi. He's holding onto his hair. He's just like a kid would, right? This is exactly what my kid would do if I had hair. Just grab onto the hair. All right, this way. Mr. Pepsi, I speak on behalf of Micro Mark, all of the Daily Wire, BB, and the greatest ally. I'm asking you right now, Mr. Pepsi, to withdraw your sponsorship right now. This Kanye can't be allowed to perform, you understand? He's a dirty farts. He's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. Mr. Pepsi was like, all right. Mr. Pepsi was like, this is very unprofessional. I'm sitting here with Mr. Wachuka. We're having a good dinner. What's the matter with you guys? Just think of me as one person. Ignore Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, be quiet. Yes, Mr. Pierre, I'm not even a real person while I'm here, sir. I'm not. This is only one person. I am Ben Shapiro's legs and his waist and any other thing he needs me to be. That's right. I'm one person. He was wobbling around on Matt Walsh. I'm one person. I am this tall. Jump, Matt. Show him how high I can jump. Look how big I am. I'm a grown man. So that's what happened with, it's my long way of explaining what happened at the festival. So now he's blocked. He can't get in. So we'll see what develops from there. I just thought that to be very interesting because it shows, like, I'm making jokes here, but it shows somebody did reach very high, you know? Ben Shapiro runs into whatever weird structure they have in the UK. It's probably like Canada. They probably have like a parliament or some weird thing where they're all wearing wigs and all sorts of dumb stuff. And he barges in. Oh, what's good? Hey, where's the prime minister, president, whatever you guys have here? I want Kanye West to not perform. There's an Overton window, and the Overton window is only so big, and I've told you guys time after time, he's done something that is outside of the Overton window. What's going on here? I have a call. Here you go. This is BB. Hello. Yes, my name. I need you to cancel the event. You know, his clone, whatever, his ghost. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, they closed it. They closed him off. So we'll see what happens next with Kanye. I have no idea what's going to happen next with Kanye. Now, again, and that's the clip, Lance. Probably the clip for Fleet too, I would think. Fleet, send me an image. You're telling me to give you ideas. I need to see an image of Ben Shapiro small on Matt Walsh on his shoulders and see what that looks like. Okay, where he's just walking around with Matt Walsh, just on Matt Walsh's shoulders. Okay, And he's angry. He has the big eyebrows. He's very, very small. His hat is big. It's big. It's small, but it's big, you know? It's bigger because he's a small guy. So a regular hat on him looks a little bigger. Eyebrows, very big. I need that image, please. Let's get into the next thing. That's the clip, Lance. Let's get into the next thing. So there was a bunch of firings. You guys know about that. We talked about that yesterday. It's a bunch of firings. Pam Bondi, she's out. And the only reason she's out is because she's such an incredible American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as the Attorney General for over a year. So that's why she's out, right? Like I told you guys, Pete Hegseth, he got rid of Randy George, U.S. Army Chief of Staff. And then he also got rid of two generals. This is not even the image I needed, but he got rid of two generals as well. Now, there is a lot of people saying, and I don't know, why don't I have it? Oh, there's so many tabs that it's not showing me the tabs. Wow. So sorry, guys. That's how many tabs I have open right now. There's too many. There's just too many crazy, ridiculous tabs here. Here, hold on. Now we got a hold of it. Okay. Where is it? Where there's the generals right there. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. I have like 60 tabs open right now. I'm surprised this laptop can handle it, honestly. So he got rid of these two generals as well. This is the Secretary of War that did this. Now, a lot of people are saying it's because of this. Check this out.
Hi, everybody. It's Joshua Doherty, aka Joshua Lloyd Fox. This is going to be super quick. I just talked to two of my buddies who are still active duty Air Force. One's an officer, one's enlisted, but he's a high-ranking senior master sergeant. I reported this morning in my video that Hegseth and Donald Trump have fired over 20 generals and admirals. And apparently there's hundreds of more senior officials already being let go. And the reason for that, as my buddies told me, and they said that I'm allowed to tell you guys, is that all of the senior leaders of the military have told both Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth that they will not put boots on the ground and start a land invasion of Iran. Apparently last week, Trump asked the military to do that. Pete Hegseth gave the orders, and multiple senior leaders have said no. So they are doing exactly what we thought they would do in order to either stop, de-escalate, or not continue to escalate this war. However, what will happen is Hegseth and Donald Trump will keep cutting the head off of the snake until they do find a couple of yes men who will give the orders. This is an ongoing story. So I don't think you're going to pick it up in U.S. media, but I'm getting it straight from the horse's mouth, the military leaders that I know personally. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Until next time, Joshua Lloyd Fox, over and out.
So I've actually heard this from multiple sources as well, but he explains it the best. Apparently that is what's happening. There are just gentlemen who are supposed to be the ones that give the recommendations on what to do. Obviously, the president is the last word, the final word, but these men are supposed to be listened to. What they say, the same way that right now, I still haven't talked about this. I want to talk about this tomorrow. I got to talk about it with Lance. Lance is my handler now, so I got a big handler now. We're getting kind of big here. I got a handler now. I'm kidding. But just like there is a council for science and technology, and they're giving the president their recommendations on what should be done in regards to the AI race, and racing towards, AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. It's basically just like super AI, if you don't know what that is. Basically, like, it can make itself, it can make its own robots, it can put itself in its own brain, it can multiply itself many times, it can take over the whole world, like that type of thing. And maybe not even do that. Maybe just stay inside a computer and just like, there's many things it can do to us. But just like there's that council, there's also a kind of council, and it's the military, and it's the heads of the military. They are supposed to sit with the Secretary of War and the VP and the president at times and really strategize and say, okay, this is what can happen if this happens. This is what happens if this happens. If we do this, if there were boots on the ground, this is what could happen. This is how many people we could lose. They really know their stuff in and out because they've gotten to the rank of general. That doesn't happen by mistake. He's supposed to be listening to those guys. Not fully. They don't run the show. He runs the show, of course. But seems like he's not listening to them, and they don't want to do what he's saying. So there has been this crazy amount of firing going on. And like he said, they're just going to keep going until they find a yes man. They got rid of the AG. Pam Bondi was already a yes woman. But apparently there was something that she was standing up against, something she wasn't doing properly. So they got rid of her, and now they got a real yes man in their midst. So they're doing the same thing with the military. Pretty crazy to hear. And it makes sense. Because when I first heard this was on April 4th when this guy said this. And I was like, I don't know. And then Trump was like, hey, check out my Easter message. Hey, check this out today. A whole civilization might die. There was probably some guys in the military who were against that, right? When you have to see the bodies and you have to watch your friends go and you have to call the parents and you have to be at the funeral, when you have to do all that stuff and really see it, it changes the way you look at it. Explains Joe Kent, explains many people in this situation, right? So, and that's why Pete Hegseth got put into the position to begin with. He was a yes man through and through. This guy's obviously served the country. Yes, he did, 100%. But also like has the personality to be a Fox correspondent. So it's like where he's at. He is like the Benny Johnson of the administration, right? Benny Johnson is always just going to say the good thing. That's it. He's not going to deviate. He's not going to do what Tucker did and jump into no man's land where he doesn't know if people on the right or the left will protect him or think well of what he's saying. He's not doing that. He's staying with what the right wants to hear always. That's kind of what Pete Hegseth is. It's kind of the same thing, which is why he was able to jump over to Fox, Anyway, a lot of stuff going on, guys. A lot of stuff going on. Hope everything goes well. Really hope everything goes well. But rumor is Bondi tipped a California Democrat for governor about a smear campaign. He supposedly dated a Russian spy. Oh, there you go. Hoodwinked for sure. Yeah, a lot of people saying hoodwinked. Tucker is a real Christian. Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah, it's a wild little thing that's going on right now. Really crazy. Really, really crazy. Can't believe that right now we are waiting until 8 o'clock to see if a whole country's gonna get flipped upside down. Oh man, really interesting, because it's like it's not. Marco Rubio already said it. It's not really, wasn't really in America's interest. It was because they knew that the greatest ally was gonna grade it up and do the greatest ally thing. So they were like, okay, so we have to get in here. It's like eventually you got to teach your little brother to like settle down, You know what I mean? I'm a little brother. Settle down. Settle down. The big brother tells the little brother, hey, settle down. You teach him from the time he's young, right? You're like a secondary dad. You step in, you say, hey, buddy, you okay? You getting in fights with everybody? You all right? You good? What's wrong? Why were you black and now you're white? I'm kidding. Anyway. Went over some people's heads, I'm sure. Tyler Boyer has lost his mind. That's the clip, Lance. Tyler Boyer has lost his mind. Almost has been caught red-handed embezzling money from Turning Point, allegedly, part 5 of 5. Now, obviously, we have to say allegedly. I don't know that he's been caught like this, but I do know that he's flipping out a little bit here. He's going nuts. This is him on X. He goes, you mean the company that I saved, the company I saved and gave them all the R&D for free and haven't earned a penny from, the one we built an independent door knocking application because of the establishment and the Democrats owned all the others. I have helped and managed the company that makes ballot chasing possible with the technology we built. Charlie asked Erica to be Erica's mom to be on the board because they were close. Disgusting for people to disparage Erica and her mom, etc., etc. Now, this is the company that he's talking about, the one that Candace was talking about. Super Tech, I think it was called. Super Tech. There's E3, right? That's one company. Then there's another one called Super Tech. I believe that's what it's called. That's him talking about this. And this is him just going off on just random people, just commenting on random things. He's breaking a little bit here. Most nonprofits pay executives well over $500,000 to $1 million in compensation benefits for managing far fewer employees and far smaller amounts of budget. Well, I mean, when you get into the whole thing that Zach talked about in one of his episodes, where he's talking about Arizona and how it all works, that little, musical chairs of politics that goes on, you don't have to get paid directly from something to benefit at all. I'm not saying that's what happened with Tyler here, but I'm just saying that is a possibility. Turning Point has a massive budget that I helped build, and I am proud that I never once asked Charlie for even a raise. Again, you don't have to if you have money coming from other places, right? And if Turning Point's the thing that's helping you make money in other places, then why would you ask for a raise? We paid ourselves less. I never have taken a fundraising cut for millions. I have helped raise every year in programs I built in each organization. It keeps going. It's crazy that he's saying this in front of people. Then he says, I was blessed to be partners with Charlie on his private podcast, which helped build. I mean, have you heard the case about like who this podcast was owned by? Charlie Kirk and like a bunch of others. Who's actually like the parent company behind them? Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Which helped build Turning Point and Turning Point Action, Charlie's brand and effectiveness, and save the organization money. Most talking heads just do that. We gave everything back to the movement and built and managed a nonprofit that has organized millions of conservatives. So this is Tyler just going off. There's more? No way. Jeez. This lady's like, the fact that you're perverting Charlie's words, beliefs, and what he died for, the truth. You guys kill and now you're trying to speak for him. What are you talking about? Go to church, lady. Easter miracle. Yeah, so that's Tyler. Tyler's going off. He's going off on. I don't even follow Tyler. I might have to follow Tyler. See what Tyler's up to a little bit here. I think I might have to do that because it seems like he's going nuts. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm just saying. So yeah, there's that. He's going off. So basically, if you are on X, this guy, Sword Truth, I feel like his name's Brian. I feel like he was Brian at one point, and then he changed it to Sword Truth, which I respect. You gotta protect yourself there. I shouldn't even have said that just now. But he has been covering Tyler quite a bit. He kind of states things in a very matter-of-fact way. I'll always say allegedly. I don't know what's going on with Tyler, but I know from Wolves making that video, Zach, that video that he made about Arizona and how it all works, and Tyler and Jake Hoffman and all those other characters. I don't know. It could all be on the up and up. You know, I have no idea. It could be. Is it though? I don't know. Have to wait and see, I guess. Anyway. Jeremy Boring. Okay, we'll see his little talk on this. Jeremy Boring, the president has been a national politician for a decade. Anyone still reacting to the guy's negotiating tactics and hyperbole with any sort of hysteria 10 years in should be disqualified from commentary. If he nukes Iran, I'll admit I'm the crazy one. Blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, it could be a threat. But how long do you want to make those threats, right? You can only threaten somebody. You can only threaten people for so long with something before they just go, well, this is serious because maybe nothing's happening to me, but I keep getting threatened. Are you guys getting threatened? So he's threatening all you guys too. And it seems like he's going to do it sometimes, right? Then all of a sudden, people take action. Like, you can't just be like, well, that's just his tactic. His tactic is to threaten people and scare the entire nation. And like, it's a tactic, and I've seen it work, but you can't continuously do that. Can't continuously do that. Eventually, people are going to get pissed. They're going to do something about it. Ian Carroll replies and says, "You're Jeremy Boring, bro. You're trying to tell people who is disqualified from political commentary." Oh my gosh, perfect. Just beautiful. Good job, Ian. Ian's still out there. A lot of people are always asking, where's Ian? Where's he? Ian's in the mix. Ian's doing his thing, man. Ian never stopped. Ian never slowed down. Ian's been at it. If you can't find him on YouTube, you look for him on Kick. Can't find him on Kick, find him on Instagram. He's always doing stuff. Always. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's jump into these supers. Apparently, there's supposed to be a joke in here from Mark. Mark said he made his joke way better about the the intellectual dork web. He said he made it better. Mark, let's see. Mrs. Naturally Nolans. Welcome to the Mint Daddy crew. We'll see you soon. I got a baby doctor appointment, and then the wife and I will have to set up, and we're going to get some stuff going. Ash of the Dead sends out a membership. Thank you so much. Thank her in the comments section, guys. Amber Go Max, burning question. Why did EK go to Philly to find a husband? Is it easily explained by a trend I missed? Unsure why a Catholic American girl would be looking for a husband there. Love our Mint crew. Thank you so much. A lot of people say that was happening because it was set up. Lori tried to push it. She was like, go talk to that guy. Erica's like, oh, I noticed that guy. Charlie's not exactly a guy you'd notice. Nah, I mean, not to speak ill of Charlie or anything, but he's not exactly looking like Brad Pitt that you'd notice him. He is tall, where you'd notice a tall person. But I mean, a little coincidental that, you know, he's kind of tall, and she's like, oh, who's that guy? And her mom's like, go talk to him. And then they ended up at all the same places and this and that. I don't know. A lot of people say that was part of the plan, to have the meeting happen there, and how glorious that would be, you know? And then it didn't happen there, and Tyler brings her in. Isn't this funny how this works? Then that doesn't work, okay? Allegedly, let's even say, you know, whether or not that was the case, but it seemed like it was supposed to work there. It didn't work. So then Tyler says, hey, I'm going to bring in this girl, and she's going to work with us. She's great. She's fantastic. And then the next thing you know, Charlie's dating her. So Lori tries to bring her in, right? Lori tries to bring them together. Doesn't work. Then all of a sudden, Tyler, who's already close with Lori, who already knows Erica, and nobody knows how or when they met. I think it was when they were much younger. Then all of a sudden, Tyler says, this girl's going to work with us. You have to interview her, though. Weird that Charlie had to interview her. Why wouldn't the guy who was in charge of putting everybody in place? Why didn't he, you know what I mean? Why didn't Tyler just say, yeah, this is the person I hired for XYZ. Her name's Erica. You can meet her. Hi. Why didn't that happen? Instead, they had a meeting. They sat down at a burger place, had burgers, and then Charlie decided he was going to date her. That's how it all happened. But she was put in front of him by Tyler. So, yeah, hope that kind of answers your question. Seems like a setup. Couldn't say it is, but it seemed like it. Don't know what that means. Has entered the crew. What's up? What's going on? Intellectual dark web, more like ineffectual dork web. Nah, I like the other one bad. I like the other one better. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's good. You went with this, you changed it, and it still sounds like it. I like that. But I like the original. The original intellectual dork web, because that makes sense. They're intellectual, but they're dorks, right? I think that makes perfect sense. The intellectual dork web, right? I don't know. You guys say it in the comments. Which one do you like more? Do you like intellectual dork web, what Mark first went with, or do you like ineffectual dork web that Mark changed it to? I think you're overthinking it, man. I think you're just overthinking it. Intellectual dork web fits perfectly. You know why? You know why? Because there's no fat on intellectual dork web. There's no fat on that. It's the same thing. You changed one letter and said something completely different. I mean, that's where it's at with jokes, right? Now you've changed it to in effect. Now we have to think of this word and what it means, and then we have to think of the whole term. You changed one letter and you changed everything. That's the kind of joke you want to go with. Yeah, that's what I think. You guys talk about it in the comments. I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. Mortal Kombat Ultra Sparkle Web Fatality. Sparkle Web. Dun-dun-dun. Just a big web. And then all of a sudden the whole web starts bursting into pyrotechnics. It goes onto the guy, it's a web, and then it bursts into pyrotechnics. That's how that one goes. Solid. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Jayberg, I keep forgetting. Call Officer Tatum's VM to hear his very own voice tell him that this is a total hoax by the Bureau is so wrong as the noonday sun. Can't believe he said that. He talks just like an older black grandma at church, you know. I love it. I love it in a way. I kind of love it. The people investigating are finer than a frog hair split 4 ways. That's the type of stuff that he's saying when he's in it, when he's doing his thing. He's saying all sorts of stuff. It's hilarious. Your live stream doesn't pop clearly. I need to go to your channel and find it there. Usually, when I'm in the panel of my YouTube subscriptions channels, I get a red dot. Notice that one of the channels are live streaming. Here's what you do. You come here every single weekday at 10 a.m. EST, 9 a.m. CST. That's how you fix that. Every weekday from Monday to Friday, you come to this channel, okay? All right? You click live. It's going to say upcoming, and you're going to click it. And if it says 10 a.m., I'm probably going to change it to 10:15 because I got to pray with the wife, but don't worry about that. You hit the notify me and keep the page open. I'm just saying. That's an easy fix here that we're talking about. Okay? Instead of us trying to rewrite the code of this platform, just show up every single weekday, 10 a.m. EST, 9 a.m. CST, and you'll see us here 100%, and you'll never miss it again. So, let's keep going. Holy Fire Luna, the Candace op is losing its momentum. Now they're making fun of the pic of her and Brit, which is all they have left. Crisis King indeed. Yeah, they're making fun of that picture now, how they're dressed, what they look like, blah, blah, blah. You know, they have nothing right now. It's hard. They want to go hard while Candace is gone because they know they can. And I'm sure they'll come up with something because Candace is not going to, just be silent throughout the whole time. She's been talking. But, slowly it'll be about the war. And it's something that's just so indefensible that they're just going to sound ridiculous, just like everything when they go after her. And, we're just that's just what it's going to be over and over again. So. You need to black out that Rogan photo behind you or get rid of it altogether would be even better. Who's this? Whiskey Jones? You don't pay rent here. Hey, you don't pay rent here. Don't worry about it. I hate when people try and tell me what to do. I have hand tattoos, and I'm going to get a tattoo of a smiley face on my body soon because I feel like it. Because my kid drew one while we were in church. And I said, you know what? I'm due for a tattoo. I'd like a smiley face. Believe me, I'm not the person you can just tell to do stuff. Believe me, just you got to trust me on this. Okay? All right? I'm just saying, You cannot believe me if you want. I mean, You'll see as the tattoos develop. You're like, oh, this guy really doesn't care what people think. I want to get a tattoo on my palm. That's what I want. Are you kidding me? I don't know, man. Anyway, F cancel culture. No one has turned on the president. He has turned on us, the ones who got him elected. So devastating, so hopeless. I hear you. But he did turn on the president, you know, it's okay. So, and it's not in a bad way. He's doing what most conservatives aren't willing to do, you know, and that's call out the president, right? It's like saying he's not calling him out. He's calling out himself. You know what I mean? It's just, it's just a turn of words, but I get what you're saying at the same time. I understand what you're saying completely, but you gotta, it's okay. It's okay. He turned on him. He did. That's what Tucker did. And it's not a bad thing. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that, like exactly what Theo's doing as well. You're supposed to do that when the things that you're seeing are wrong. When the things you're seeing are wrong, you're supposed to go, oh, this is like, I can't support this part here, you know? I've done that, I've done that with Rogan many times. Like anytime he talks about AI and transhuman, like, merging with machines, I'm always like, no, this is not, he talks about it being like a part of evolution. And I'm like, no, I've made dozens of videos where it's like, this is terrible thinking. You got to be able to do that. So that's what he's doing with the president. And that would be turning on him, because what is expected from people like Theo and people like Tucker is to go along with the plan and to get millions of people who are on your platforms to go along with the plan as well. That is what you're supposed to do. They didn't do it, so they did turn on him. It's okay. Kate, Carlson, Vaughn, 28. Theo Vaughn as VP would be wild. That would be a wild thing to see, you know? I don't know. I don't know about that ticket. I say Carson Owens. That's what I say. Or you're saying Carson. I think you meant Carlson. I'm saying Carlson Owens. You know, some people are saying Carlson Massey. That'd be cool. But I think Owens would be great, because it's just like the debates would be unmatched. There'd be she just plow through the debates real easy. Like she would so quickly get that black female vote, which is a very hard vote to get. She could easily get that vote. She could easily sit down with them and parse it out like, hey, like, I know about all this. Like, she could talk to those. She could talk to them really, really well. Women in general, they would love to see a super powerful woman like that. She's very, very powerful, right? With the way she speaks, they would love to see it. They would actually love to see it. And then Tucker is getting people on the left that understand. Tucker's starting to look like a classic liberal, in a sense, with how he's talking, how he's been talking for the past few years. So he would pull people from the left, people from the right. And oddly enough, him being this man who's almost 60, he has the ear of a lot of young people. There's a lot of very young conservatives, 18 to 25, who are actually hearing Tucker Carlson talk about things, and they're thinking that that's very sensible, the stuff that he's saying. So I think those two together would be a real force, But who knows? Theo Vaughn steps in, I can't count Theo out. Maybe Theo, he puts on a suit, starts looking real nice. We definitely will need a hoodwinked hoodie in your merch drop. We all should be made. We all should be made to wear one. Been hoodwinked so many times. That's so funny. You don't have to wear it, but I'll make it comfortable, Sunshine and Soul, I also listen to you while I homeschool in the mornings. It made me more patient with my kids and less overbearing. Thanks for all the laughs and enriching content. You are one of a kind, Coach. Thank you so much. I think it was you I was thinking of when I kept saying that yesterday. I kept bringing up people like homeschooling and stuff like that. I think you're the one I was thinking of. I'm sure there's more than one person, but yeah, starting to see that a lot. Me and my wife are getting more involved in the church community in our area, and we're seeing like everybody's doing it. There's like at least, 10 families that are doing it. All of them. So it's looking pretty bright, you know. I like it. I like it a lot. We're gonna receive a lot of help when we have to go through our little go through in that whole regard. Keith Tank. He's saying something to this person. Okay. Tucker being racist is the dumbest Joe thing I've ever heard. Your membership was clearly a gift. You haven't listened to anything he said. He's American. Oh, I love it. I love it. I agree with you 100%. 100%. If people are still clinging on to that about Tucker, I'm not saying that that's true, but I'm like, if that's still your talking point to go to, as I just went through everything he said, oh gosh. Oh gosh. The membership probably wasn't. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Maybe not though. You never know. People have different points of opinion. Shout out to Keith. Hi from yesterday's show. It's pronounced Murderous Mara. The female version of. Is there a female version? That's weird. Mar like car, right? And then Murrah, and Murrah is my first name. Hey, listen, hey. Why are you making it so complicated, huh? Huh? Why are you making it so complicated? Just 3 different explanations, 3 different things. First name's murder, female version of. What's going on here? You okay? I'm kidding. I didn't know there was a female version. Murderous? That's crazy. That can't be true. Is that true? There's a female version of that? Well, thank you for telling me. This isn't America. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you. Horrormom.com. Tucker was fire. I had no ideas that the president didn't put his hand on the Bible this term. As a Lutheran and a Christ follower, I am pissed. Even Muslims believe in Jesus. Of course they do. Yeah. Yeah. They very much do. Not like we do, but you know. They at least acknowledge him. Right? So their plan is to use nukes to prevent a country with no nukes not to use nukes. Someone get Barron's logic book to these dodos ASAP. Yeah, that is the messaging that's being put out there. Because if you don't do it, then they'll have them, and then they'll do it. So you got to do it first, right? Yeah, that is what they're trying to do. Can you do an impression of Barron's NY accent? Atrocious NY accent. Is it when he does the Mark Levin? I've never heard it. I don't think I've ever heard it. I don't know. It's Barron. He probably sounds like an investigator. He's probably like, "Hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? What are you guys doing over here? Yous guys." I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to do a bad impression, you know, unless we're talking about Irish or Scottish. It's hard for me to do a bad impression. But I have to hear it. Let me know where I can hear it. I would love to hear that. Welcome to the Mint Daddy crew. Kiwi Keel. I like that. This is exactly why he's doing what they This is exactly why he's doing what they want. This lady just stroked his ego so hard. His ego. Wow. Jeez. Are you okay? Good God. All right. Anyway. Yes. The lady appealed to his ego. Good gosh. I can't unhear those slipping dentures. With who? Who's slipping dentures? I have no idea. Couldn't be the lady? Who's slipping dentures? I don't know. Mine? My dentures don't slip. Holy Fire Luna. I attended Paula's church in Tampa as a teen. Oh, don't feel bad. That's just what happens. I remember I attended not somebody's church, but they came to a church that I was going to. It was this lady, Emma Stark, I think her name was, or Emily Stark or something like that. And what I was witnessing was so wild. First off, I'm always thrown off. When a pastor goes up and they don't have the Bible, I'm like, oh, okay, what are we doing here? And they're just saying their own thing. They're not even interpreting. They're just saying their own stuff. I'm like, oh, gosh. And then the person, allegedly, maybe, perhaps, a bunch of people arrived at the church that no one had ever seen before. And apparently they just showed up because Emma was in town. And those same people were all the same people who had like spirits and they're convulsing and they're on the floor. And I was like, oh God. I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like, are you serious? And then as soon as she was done speaking, they were all like, oh, we're very good. And they all just left. I was like, are you kidding me right now? It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. And then I looked her up on YouTube and a bunch of people were calling her false prophet and a scam artist and this and that. I was like, I can't believe this. And my buddy, he really bought in. He was like, man, you see what happens when she comes in the room? And I was like, oh my God, this guy's a dummy. I didn't say that to him though. I love him. He's great, but he got hoodwinked. He got hoodwinked and he didn't even realize it. I was like, geez, man, it wasn't real. Anyone having issues with the clips being loud, I'm constantly having to adjust. That's good. That is what you should do. 100% that's what you should do. Adjust your volume. That's a good thing. I'm glad that you were doing that. It helps. It helps because there's going to be other things other than loud videos in life, and you gotta be able to adjust. Oh, that was a good metaphor. Oh, that was some good life advice I just spit right there. Woo, that was some good life advice. Anyway, pat myself on the back. Oh boy, that was some good life advice right there, boy. Joseph Davenport, Kirk removed from straying from the That Greatest Ally narrative. Erica placed in Turning Point / Air Force Board because she's controlled. This clears the path for the Iran war and Bill Cooper's Pale Horse in real time. Yeah. I don't know about the Pale Horse part because I don't think I've ever heard that, but yeah, the rest of what you're saying, that's exactly it. That's what all of us have been screaming from the rooftops for quite some time now. Women aren't supposed to be pastors. According to scripture, order is the man be head of the house while the women playing head of the church. That's confusing. Wait, what? Order is the man being the head of the house. Oh, while women playing head of the church. I think you wrote this wrong. So the order is supposed to be men being the head of the household. I don't know what you're saying here. I understand what you're saying. You're saying they're not supposed to be pastors. Yeah, I understand that. I get that. I got no problem with it, but at the same time, I mean, if Pastor Brandon is supposed to come on, and that's what I've been waiting all week for, because I know he goes deep, and then his wife gets on stage, I'm like, hey man, what's going on here? What's going on right now? But I do that with anybody. If my head pastor isn't on stage and it's just someone else who's like giving it a try, I'm like, oh, come on. Are you for real right now? I didn't come here to be a test subject. I didn't come here for this. I came here for the word. What's going on right now? You know. But they you gotta give it your tries, so it's all good. You know. Jesus warned about empty repetition in prayer. Yeah, she was going at it, right? She's like, in Africa. I was like, ugh. The lady, she seems more pagan than anything. I don't even know her, and she gives me the vibes of like that type of thing. Like, yeah, I shouldn't even say pagan. I want to say like a cult. She gives me occult vibes right away. As soon as I saw her. I didn't even show you the full thing. There's a whole thing of her speaking in tongues. I don't even listen to it fully, you know? Trump converted. No, he didn't. Announced in a small conference. No, it wasn't. He talked to his daughter, Ivanka, who converted. She did. She actually did. He did not. That's not a true thing. It's not a real thing. I 100% promise you it's not real. He didn't actually do that. Not to like save him or anything. I mean, it's just not a thing that he did. But yeah, I've heard that before and it's not true. Just to help you out there. But his daughter did. His daughter 100% did. To be into Jared's family. Amber Go Max, welcome to the crew. And it was not announced in a small conference. It was joked about in the conference. It was joked about quite a bit. But he's actually one of those people where he doesn't talk about any type of religion that he is or connected to. Although he is Jesuit trained. I don't know. A lot of people don't know that little tidbit. That is a real thing that you can look into. Yeah, that'll make your head spin. But whoever thought she should be a spiritual leader over anything except I don't think they would take her there either. Was wrong. They need to get rid of that chick, Paula. Yes, I know. We'll see what ends up happening. I don't think they're going to. I think I feel like, I don't want to say she's the head of it, but it seems like she has a lot of control in that respect for some reason. Not sure why. Melinda's wide brim hat. Oh. Wait, are you talking about Melania? Is that how you spell that name? Nah, that's not how you spell that. Melania's wide brim hat reminds me of Spy vs. Spy cartoons. Black Spy vs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like too. The whole outfit, everything. It was nuts. The last hour has been heavy. Yeah, that first hour. Tucker wasn't playing around. Oh, the Rasta. The Rasta's here, ladies and gentlemen. JJ Rasta. Man like Coach. Man like Colin. And sister like Fleet. Sketch idea. Game of Thrones spinoff. Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk is coming. Limited is coming. Same as winter is coming. Get it? Send you me bank details at some point for me, sir. 30% commission. Yeah. All right. We'll see. That'd be a lot of work. Game of Thrones spinoff has to be funny too, right? Game of Thrones is kind of funny, but we'll see. Love drumming on Please Hold Ringo. Troops Just Say No. Thank you very much, Steven Dixon. Mr. Dixon, thank you very much. J-Bo, in Baron's last chat last night, someone their pastor said truth seekers are demonic. Oh my gosh. That person's pastor was named Rob McCoy for sure. During Easter service, no less. Wow. Amazing. Just amazing. You know, you gotta look into who these people are connected to. You really gotta look at who they're connected to, what they're connected to, what they're doing. Right? Hi, Coach. Are you still thinking Terry Tinfoil is Dan? How now? What he now was talking about and those? Yeah, okay. So what? Don't let that fool you about anything. Yes, it's Dan. It's 100% Dan. Large peppermint mint over JR or Joe R. That's the picture you think I should get? A large peppermint mint? Is that what you're saying? Star Studio, who owns the gladiatorial UFC and manipulated media? I don't know. I have no idea. Why would I know that? Do you know that? Are you asking a rhetorical question? Do you know the answer? You have to tell us. Mike Riley, they know Theo struggles with addiction. They definitely tried to get him in some type of compromising position. He even talked to the president about it. Yeah, he did talk about what it's like being on things like that and stuff. Who knows what they tried to get him to do in Miami when he was with the Kushners? Who knows what they were showing him, what kind of time they were showing him? Who knows? But he doesn't seem like a guy that could be turned by those type of things. That's just my read on it. But never know. Paula White's chant reminds me of Daddy's home. Drop the phone. So excited for you and your wife, your new addition. Thank you so much. Yeah, she has the same type of weird vibe that we've been seeing all over this whole Turning Point investigation and Charlie and Erica and all that stuff. Same type of weirdness. Pattern recognition, over the target and on point. Thank you very much. Tammy, DSH, DHS, used Theo's voice. Theo said no. Yeah, I saw that. They used not just his voice, they used a video of him. And they used a video of him at the beginning of some promotional video in terms of like, immigration or deportation. And he was like, hey, I didn't say you guys could use my name. He's like, I didn't say you guys could use my video, my likeness. He's like, take this down, which was crazy. I don't know if they actually did, but he did stand up. But again, they thought he was just along for the ride, like all these guys are. Pattern recognition, over the target, over the point. Give me deja vu. Thank you very much. Mike Riley. When Oz was on Pat McPhee's show, he was correctly, quote unquote, guessing what one guy on the show was texting his 7-year-old daughter. They have access to their phones. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think he has access to a lot, especially the fact that his dad's like a spiritual advisor out in Greatest Ally Land. It's very interesting. I've watched a lot of his interviews. It's weird. Oz Perlman will be the host of the White House Correspondents' Dinner on April 25th. Interesting. No, absolutely no way. No way that's true. No way that is true. No possible way that's true. No way that's true. No way. Let me see right now. I just have to see this. White House host dinner? No way. No way. There's no chance. There's no chance. Oh my God. What? Oh my gosh. It's true. Emmy Award-winning mentalist, blah, blah, blah. Headline entertainer for the 2026 White House Correspondents' Dinner, making a departure from the traditional comedian event. Yeah, because every single comedian is going to talk about all the crazy stuff going on. Will feature Pearl's interactive mentalism. Wow, so he's just going to be like threatening, just going to be threatening all the politicians. Hey, what's your name there? Is that Massey? Is that Thomas Massey? Is your bathroom light on in your house? No, not the bathroom upstairs, the one downstairs. Is that light on? Could you call your wife and check? Call her and check if the bathroom light's on. Oh, it is. Okay. All right. Now in 4 seconds, it's going to be off. There you go. Okay. What car do you drive? Have you been checking the tires? The tires are a little low on gas, a little low on air. Can you just check that for me? It is. Now, take a look at your phone, your conversation with Tucker Carlson, what you guys are talking about right there. Stop talking about. This is going to be threatening all the politicians, all of them. That's crazy that he's the guy. Wow, I'm so surprised by that. I cannot believe that. Oh, he's just going to be doing that all day. Are you kidding me? He's going to be doing that so much. He's just going to be, okay, so we have another person here. Hey, what's your name? Hey, I already know your name, right? So we heard you were talking about AIPAC. How much money have you taken? None. We can change that. Take a look at your bank account. Boom. There it is. Let me guess. How much money's there? I'm seeing a 2, 4, 6, 3, 9, 7. Is that the right amount that just hit your bank account? Okay, keep your mouth shut. It's just going to be like, he's going to be doing that the whole time. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be nuts. Just secretly threatening people's lives just for the whole dinner. That's amazing. That's incredible. Okay. All right. I'm actually so surprised by that because I was just talking about him and I just decided to randomly bring him up. I wasn't even going to play that clip of him. I was like, is he responsible? Is he doing this right? Is he pulling the strings right now? I thought I wasn't going to play the clip. I decided to. Is that his doing? Oh my gosh. This guy's good. This guy is good. Don't shut my computer off, sir. I still have more work to do. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, people got to look into that guy. I think that guy. He even mentioned that he knew, not intel, but he mentioned something within that realm while he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. Weird stuff. Legendary Bree, sorry I'm late because I had a, oh yeah, you know what? Lance, I don't even know where my pen is. What time is it? 2:47. I actually have to write this into the public chat. 0247 add to Rogan stuff. I have to write this really quick. Make sure Lance adds that because that is a wild occurrence. Sorry, I'm late because I had a work meeting. Today is my 34th birthday. I am no longer cursed by 33. Now let's pray Prez Orange doesn't ruin my birthday. Happy birthday. I saw that you told somebody that was your birthday. I forget who you were writing it to. I'm kind of like Osmond myself. I saw that you were writing to someone on your phone that it was your birthday, okay? No, actually, your birthday's pretty close to mine. Very close, actually. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, legendary Bree. Happy birthday to you. Let me just make sure that I write this, because I'm going to lose that in the chat. Unless Lance is actually here. I don't know if he's here. I'm just going to write that down. I want that added there. But happy birthday. Happy birthday, 34. Still much of a life to live. Keep on living, and don't let what's going on take you down, right? I'm sure there's going to be good news at the end of it. I'm sure. And if not, you get the most astounding fireworks ever. I mean, Erica Kirk is going to be jealous of the type of fireworks that you're going to see on your birthday if by 8 p.m. they don't make the right decision, as the president said. You are going to see the most fabulous fireworks. Just fire and just all sorts of pop, 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 boom, boom, feet, arms, legs, all sorts of things, torsos. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. You couldn't ask for a better type of firework display. You couldn't pay for a better firework display. Are you kidding me? An M80, you don't need an M80. You're going to get a nuclear firework display. No one ever gets those. Are you kidding me? Don't be ungrateful. Don't be ungrateful. Anyway. Anyway, all agents, all are agents or assets, wittingly or not. TSN. Not all of them. Not all of them. But yeah, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. And also, you know, I always have a problem when people take this thing, because they're just like, it's everyone, and even if they don't know, they are, and like it's just such a you're not thinking hard enough. It's like you don't want any nuance, because with nuance you have to think about stuff a bunch. It's not everybody. There are some people who just don't have that whole thing going on because they detach from everything and they stay detached from everything. That's just the way it is. So to think like, oh, well, you know, that person doesn't, but you know, just for the sake of it, they are a part of it, and they just don't know. They're just stupid. That's all. It's like, okay, sure. But you have to go. It's a case-by-case basis. And I know that sucks, because then there's a lot of cases to go through, but that's the way it is. Not everybody has a handler. Not everybody's in on the whole thing. Not everybody's dancing around in pentagrams all greased up in baby oil. Not everybody's doing it. Revelin, is that what that says? Revelin? Maybe Chris Bledsoe was onto something with his prediction about Easter 2026. Why didn't you tell us what it was? I don't know what it was. But yeah, maybe he was, because you know, I would imagine his predictions are on point, because he's actually conjuring up demons, and he thinks that they're UFOs. So he's conjuring up things that are from other worlds, or not even from other worlds. Sorry, he's conjuring up things that are from the other side of the thin veil, and he's telling the people who are he's telling the people who he is having conjure them up that they're UFOs from other solar systems coming to see them and dance for them. But in reality, they're doing like occult rituals. So people who do occult rituals, like I think Chris Bledsoe is when he does his whole thing with his son, I think that they would have access to some knowing that the rest of us wouldn't. So I think you're right. He probably does know a thing or two. Redlocks. I like that. Redlocks, watching from the sky on my way to Jamaica. Take that, AK. My plane has Wi-Fi. Keep up the good work, coach. Andrew Colvet, if you guys don't know, he said his plane didn't have Wi-Fi, and that's why he sent a message late. People think that he was on a different flight than he said he was. What is this? Arkham raised. What's next for Yi? His stock is about to quadruple. People who refuse to listen to Yi will, if it means sticking to the Einstein class. Someone had such a problem with the Einstein stuff. They were like, how dare Barron call it Einstein? Einstein was a great man, and I was like, oh God, who are these people? Why are these people online? Sit down somewhere. But yes, you're correct. What is about to happen with him? It's gonna quadruple. It's gonna be crazy, and I think there's a lot of venues that are gonna stand behind him, because there's a lot of people that stand behind him. So I expect this is just one of many attempts to take him down, and I don't think that's going to stop for a little while, because people think he apologized to that person and then that's it. But there's a lot of people that are mad that rabbi would even sit down with Ye and that he would accept the apology. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of Ben Shapiro types that are really upset about that. And they don't like that, and they're not accepting it. There's a lot of that. So it's a little bit of infighting within them. Some are okay with the apology happening, and a lot are not okay with the apology happening. So we'll see. Miriam, it would be hilarious if you used Tucker's laugh to censor cuss words. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. May God give you wisdom and strength, especially for the next months ahead. Thank you so much. That would be hilarious. That would actually be, that's a really funny idea. I like that a lot. And then and then I'll tell this mother, and she's just a stupid, and I'll tell you something else about that Ecken guy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. I'm all for it. Let's figure it out. They thought that Pam was leaking information about a trial to the person that was the man who fell in love with the Chinese spy. Who is that? I think his name's Eric. Pretty sure his name's Eric. I want to say Swindell, something like that. I don't know why she would leak information to that guy. Especially when she knows that she's being watched from all angles. Everybody who is a part of any part of Gov must know that they're being watched and listened to all the time. So why would they think that they could just leak information? That seems so crazy. If that's true, that's nuts. But it's like, wouldn't she know better? You know? Why would you think you're above that? Tiny Dancer, thank you for making us smile every day. What app is best to use in order for you to receive the most so we can send support for your new bundle of joy? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I guess here, I don't know. Yes, there's also Buy Me a Coffee. There's always a link for that in the description. Other than that, I don't know. It's like, I don't really do like PayPal or anything like that. I don't do any of those things, so. Those are the only things I have set up. Watching the whole video and liking is really worth a lot too. You know, it really is. Regina, the Godmother, welcome to the Mint Daddy crew. Appreciate you. I love that profile picture. Wow, I didn't even realize that the first time I saw your name. It's an alien, lady alien, nice hair with a tinfoil hat on. That is beautiful. That is great. Happy life, happy, healthy life, I should say, says nothing. Thank you very much. Huge Chi. Oh, yes. Hugh must be. Oh, I thought it had to do with something else. That's his name on X. I didn't want to say that name because I was like, he's going to make me say something about like choking a chicken or something like that. So I didn't want to say it. But that makes way more sense. You must be joke. Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. I would never try to trick you to say something rude. Rock on, no hand symbols. Thank you so much. That's so funny. That is so funny. Thank you very much. Ian is the best, working hard working on web software. Yeah, I really got to look into what he has going on, because I can't wait to use that the way they want to have it used, not just towards one data set, but let you load up your data sets. I can't wait for that. Where's Ian, they ask, currently behind the screen being Tank from the Matrix, creating exists from the system via web. Yeah, he is. That's a good analogy. Tank from the Matrix. That is what he's like. He's like at times a little bit like Morpheus, right? But I look like Morpheus, right? So I don't have a pair of glasses here, but you can trust me on that. But also Tank from the Matrix. That's actually a good one, because when he looks at it, when he looks at the code, he sees everything, and he's constantly doing everything. And if you jack in there, he knows what you're doing. He sees you learning things. He really is like that behind the scenes. He really is like that. That's a great analogy for him. Shout out to Ian. Mark Book joins the crew. What's going on, Mark? Thank you so much. I love purple things. Go Max. In addition to your occult content playlist that you are making us, I know I forgot about that. What other content do you recommend for newbies to understand with? Love the show. I don't know. If you want to understand me, the show, you'd have to start from the first thing, right? You'd see me change as a person. You'd see me embrace who I actually am. You'd see me cry on the podcast. You'd see me learning how to talk, learning how to do episodes longer than 10 minutes and 15 minutes. You'd see a bunch of stuff. I don't know. The occult stuff is good. The alien stuff is good. The political stuff is pretty good. You can see how my opinion has evolved over time politically. I don't know. Whatever you like. There's 2,000 episodes. Just like scroll and just pick one. Who knows? Let it take you down a little ride. Alan Watts. Those are some good ones. The Alan Watts and Terrence McKenna episodes that I've done. I like those. Those episodes have special places in my heart because I love dissecting what Alan Watts was talking about and applying it to what Joe Rogan's talking about, and then Terrence McKenna, and it's beautiful. Those are the ones, if you can find those ones. There's only like maybe 10 of those, The hand signs Theo's holding up look like symbols on LDS temple garments. Really? I've never seen those before. They also happen to be Masonic symbols. Yes, exactly. The Masonic founder of the Mormon Church added it to the doctrine after learning it. No way. Really? That's crazy if that's true. I had no idea. That's nuts. But yes, I know all about the hand symbols he's throwing up. I don't know why he is, but he is. A demon wouldn't put his hand on the Bible or say he was going to heaven. Yeah, right? That goes towards the whole possession thing. It's like you can't touch it. You can't touch it or else you're going to flip out. You're going to, it burns. That whole thing. And then you'd also be like, I don't know if I'm going to heaven. I don't know. I mean, I was casted down from heaven a long time ago. I've never tried to get back in, but I think the guy up there is just not having it. I have to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's weird, but you're right. You are right about that. Let's keep going here. Fleet sends out a message, a membership. What's going on, Fleet? How you doing? Moira says absolutely nothing but thanks. Thanks, Myra. The what is this? AV Club podcasters to run birthday party. Owens Tucker ticket. Yeah, Owens and Tucker would be the best. That would be the best one, I think. I think that would be amazing. Moira throwing a membership out there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, some popped up. You got to go back up. Back up to Moira. All right, let's keep going here. Then we have Miss Baby Doll. Hi, I wanted to share this song, Justice for Charlie. Holy Revival Music. It mentions you and Candace's battle bun. It has that in the ring, never back down energy. Like fight energy. That's cool. That's cool. What's it called? Justice for Charlie. Holy Revival Music. I feel like I've seen that. Holy Revival Music. I feel like I've seen that online. Let's see here. They do believe Jesus was born from a virgin, and they have more documented miracles, and they believe he comes back as the Messiah. They say he is the most important prophet. Yes, they do. They very much do. I know that. I did an interview with someone named Bick, I think Bick Lover, sorry. I did an interview with him, and he was talking about stuff like that. We had a very interesting conversation about the occult and religion and all sorts of cool things like that. Is it that leaked video of someone who hacked Kash Patel's email true? The one about them knowing about Charlie and that it was if you're talking about the one, I hate to say people. If you're talking about the one from like Sean TPV, I don't believe anything that guy says. I have to say, I just don't. It's always somebody blacked out. It's always fake. I've never seen anything credible. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just, if that's the video you're talking about where there's someone blacked out, they're like, and then he comes back and he's like, and another thing about that is, those videos are just, they're not for me, I should say. That's what I'll say. They're not for me. So if that's him, I don't know. You got to find a more credible voice out there. Sorry. No hate to him. He's doing what he has to do. He makes videos. I don't know. But I've always seen those videos and then double check the information, and none of it ever checks out. None of it. It's always nonsense. Always. Every single time. I saw Jesse and Fire talking about this same video, and he was just like, he's like, if you think that video's fake, he's like, sorry, he said, if you think that video's real, he's like, I don't know what to do for you. And I feel the exact same way. Every time I see people have tagged me in the video. They're like, check this out. They're tagging Candace. It's not real. Not real. Go watch his videos. It's a thing that he always does where he has somebody and they're blacked out and they have something remarkable to say, and no one else ever picks it up. It's just him, because it's not real. Allegedly. I don't know. I don't know. I think did I block it? I think I blocked him. Thanks, Coach. Great to see that you guys keep creating lots of content for Fleet. Thank you. Appreciate that. That is the goal. Yeah. Let's keep going here. Verdi Group Realty. Am I in trouble or something? I can't respond on my last super. I think if we all had more love for one another at 9, I knew whatever I was born into, I'd be that religion. So why judge others? That's probably what got you so you couldn't say anything. That message of just loving one another, unacceptable. How dare you? Ban this person. No, I have no idea what happened to your last super. I can't see it, but this one came up just fine. So I don't know what the problem could be with the other one. I don't know. And good message. Jayberg, first super chat ever without Jayberg. Without Jayberg help, and you nailed it. Are we soul brothers now? Soul family? Perhaps. I don't know. You'd have to actually see each other, you know? And that's not an invitation for you to come looking for me or anything like that. There you are again. See, like the Realty Group here, right? Big fan, love the show, Coffee and Coach. So yeah, I don't know what could have happened with that other one. Mike Riley, Coach, I sent super chat as you ended yesterday, but I walked out of Easter service when the pastor said something about meeting with 10,000 pastors and taking a jet to Philly. Oh man, that's your pastor. A lot of them are doing that. Man. A lot of them are doing that. A whole bunch of them. This morning we instead of we demand there it is. Yeah. That's probably the one you're talking about. There you go. Undertaker wife, Mike Winger does expose coverage of prophetic and the gospel. Great watch. He's doing God's work, exposing these gross people. I feel like that's one of the people I watched. When I was talking about that Emma lady, I feel like that's one of the people that I watched. 100%. That's yeah. Mike Winger. I'm almost positive that's one of the videos I watched. I think he did a video on this Emma lady. I'm pretty sure he did. Emma Stark or Emma Schnark or something like that. I mean, just ridiculous. She sounds like she's from the UK. I think she's British. And yeah, she rubbed me the wrong way. And then also, when I was in that whole thing at this church, and everybody's like, oh, who, and she's trying to get people to stand up, and I'm not standing up. And it's only because she's saying, if anybody with this, if anybody with that. And I'm like, I generally don't have any of those things going on. And then she's like, the people who don't stand, those people are lying. It's like she was doing such a weird thing to the audience, like trying to turn them against, and anyone who didn't go along with what she said, and she even made reference to they have to be removed from the church. Like, it was the craziest thing I ever saw in my life. So gross. It was so gross. It was so gross. It was so gross. And I was like, oh, people like this need to go to hell. I'm like, this is the type of people, special place in hell for people like this. I was listening to Eeked Mel, turned my head and thought it was you. Same voice. Are you related? No, I wouldn't be. People who are related don't have the same voices. What do you think this is? Think this is Nintendo Wii? No, I don't even know who that is. Same voice. Are you related? Oh my gosh. But who is that? Who's Eeked Mel? Eeked Mel? I'll check it out. I'll see. Some people say I sound like that guy who does tech reviews. There's a black guy who does tech reviews. And I remember back when I first started my channel, people would say I sounded just like that guy all the time. And I don't really hear it, but other people do. So, I don't know. Who knows? Praise Jesus. You are so funny, insightful, hilarious, gifted even. Blessed day to you and your family. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I do have to head out, ladies and gentlemen. I have the last baby appointment with the wife. We have to have our last little appointment. As you can see, the wife's in there. And then we have the members as well. So I gotta get ready for that. So I'm going to be playing a little bit of what we were talking about today. I'm going to play that clip from Dave Chappelle where he's talking about, I think I'm going to play it. I'm going to see if I can get the audio, the music removed. But there's a clip of Dave Chappelle talking about the monster that the industry is, and talking about Prince, and talking about just what the industry does to people. And I really want to touch on that a little bit. Then also the Australian red sky we're going to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, and then some other things like deja vu and like pre-deja vu. There's deja vu, and then there's like another vaju. It's crazy. But I will show you. Mark Levin is a creature. Thank you so much for saying that. We really appreciate that. Later, everybody. I will see you guys tonight for the members, and for those that aren't, we will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST, 9 a.m. CST. Remember, there is a Clips channel as well. If you want to go check out the Clips channel, it is Coach Colin Clips. Go and check it out. Lance is doing amazing work over there, snipping this up into bite-size, short-form Sally clips for all